I'd like to welcome everybody to the July 23rd, 2020 Board of Public Works and Safety meeting. Roll call, please. Here.
Here.
Are there any conflict of interest statements of the board?
No, sir.
No. Approval of minutes of the meeting of June 25th, 2020.
I motion we approve the minutes of June 25th, 2020.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Correspondence. Item A, correspondence received from Walsh and Kelly, Inc., requesting permission to close Soul Avenue from Hoffman Street to Douglas Street from Tuesday, July 28th, 2020 to Friday, July 31st, 2020 to mill and pave.
Good morning, members of the board.
Morning.
Dean Button. This is a request to close Soul Avenue, but keep the cross streets open between Hoffman and Douglas for the purposes of resurfacing Soul Avenue. Next week, we're doing this in anticipation of the WHAM, Whiting Hammond After Midnight Ride, which is August 8th, going into August 9th. And the road's in pretty poor condition. The contractor is aware of the maintaining traffic to the residential high rises in that area, because we know that there's limited access on off of Soul Avenue to that location. So we are doing that, but this is an effort to try to get this done very quickly. It does run through July 31st, and that will be weather permitting. So if it rains and they can't put asphalt down, this will get extended, but we ask for your approval on this action.
And you did say that they're going to make, not restrictions, but ambulance and police are going to obviously be able to access those properties off of Michigan.
Absolutely, yeah. We'll be able to make sure that access is available to any of the facilities that are needed, and we'll certainly coordinate that on non-work hours as well.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. I motion we approve the request from Walsh and Kelly.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item B, correspondence received from BP Pipelines requesting permission to conduct emergency repair work at the Little Calumet River.
BP was approved to do their work in between the levee back around July 2nd, and they were supposed to start the 7th, but they started that Friday. Basically what they want to do, they're testing a pipe and wrapping it and so forth. It's in between the levee. And Sunday they had issue with the rain where it went up 6-7 feet. They're actually working in between the levee. So they just want to get in there and get it done because that shut them down and so forth. I talked to Mr. Novak and he was good with that. He's aware of the situation. They will notify the residents and so forth.
Is this off Columbia Avenue?
This is off of River Drive between Columbia and Northcott.
Right. Okay.
Right. It's actually in the river itself, so it's partially Munster, partially Hammond.
Okay.
And Little Cal is aware of it. Dan Repay, Army Corps gave him permission, Environmental Management gave him permission, and so forth. They've done this work before several years ago on a different pipeline going underneath the river, so
Okay.
I would appreciate approval.
Okay.
Okay. I motion we approve BP Pipeline's request.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item C, NDOT agreement, Chicago Avenue Phase 2, DES number 1500222.
Hello again. This is the agreement, the LPA agreement between the city and the Indiana Department of Transportation that sets forth the funding agreement, and that NDOT will be the prime overseeing the contract, similar to the project that's going on Gosselin Street right now. It's 80-20 match. This is a standard state contract. You will find that they're very reluctant to any modifications to their contracts. The project is scheduled to be let or bid opened in December, and I believe Attorney Smith has reviewed the agreement, and we would recommend approval.
Yeah, I just asked that we make sure that the Board of Public Works, Lynn, make sure we keep a copy of that post-it that's on there, just for record, that it was okay.
Okay.
Thank you. I would say too that the agreement signed today will go to the state to get their signatures. This is their process. And so we'll keep whatever copies we need and get the other ones executed.
Okay, I make a motion to approve the NDOT agreement for Chicago Avenue Phase 2.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Item D, NDOT consultant agreement with First Group Engineering, Inc. for construction inspection for the Purdue Refuge Island, designated number 1600163.
Thank you. This is the construction work on 173rd in front of Purdue Northwest. It is a construction of a refuge island between the new bioscience building and the physical education building in 173rd, and includes bus turnout for the university. It includes a significant amount of underground utility work. The project is funded through a program that the Federal Highway has called Highway Safety Improvement, which is a 90-10 participation. So the city's proportionate share is only 10%. This is the LPA the agreement between the city of Hammond and the engineer to do inspection. It amounts to about just under $200,000, and so our proportionate share is $20,000. I would ask that you make this approval contingent upon the funding set aside from the mayor. It was only taken to his office yesterday, so I don't think he's had a chance to look at it. But so if you could approve it contingent upon the funding from approval by the mayor through citywide engineering fund.
So we would be expecting a green sheet coming from the
Yes,
mayor?
sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yep. Okay, I'm going to make a motion to approve NDOT consultant agreement contingent upon approval from the mayor.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Item E, right-of-way permit submitted by the engineering department for approval.
We'd recommend your approval on this standard action. These have been reviewed by the engineering department.
Okay, I'll motion to approve the right-of-way permits.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item F, correspondence received from Fire Chief Jeffrey Smith requesting approval of the promotion of Captain Mark Ficcari to the rank of Senior Captain effective July 21, 2020.
I motion to approve Chief Smith's request.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Item G, findings and order on property located at 256 Highland Street and agreement to rehabilitate property located at 256 Highland Street.
I'm not sure if anyone's here from 256 Highland. 256 Highland. So this is what we've done in this instance is that we've presented the board with our regular demolition findings and order because it is we've sent notice out, and at the same time we have actually entered into an agreement with the owner for rehabilitation, which should also be before you. And so we would request the board enter the findings in order, and that will be recorded. And at the same time, I believe the rehab agreement has been signed by the owner. I hope it has.
It has.
And we would request that be approved as well. We're able to kind of knock out two birds with one stone on this and the next property as well.
Is that all in one motion or separate?
Just maybe affirm the findings in order and approve the rehab agreement. I think you can do it in one, Mr. Long.
Okay, I'm going to make a motion to approve the findings in order and also to approve the agreement to rehabilitate at 256 Highland Street.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Item H, findings and order on property located at 252 through 54 Douglas Street and agreement to rehabilitate property located at 252 through 54 Douglas Street.
Mr. President, same request. Based on the condition of the property, we believe that the findings in order should be approved, and we also have a rehab agreement simultaneously that's been signed by the owner that he'd like to try to fix it up. So we'd request the same motion as we did on 256 Highland.
Okay, I motion to approve the findings in order and also the rehabilitation agreement for 252 to 54 Douglas Street.
I second.
Again, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Item I, agreement to rehabilitate property located at 19 Webb Street.
Mr. President, this is simply a normal agreement to rehabilitate this property. It is under a demolition order. We request its approval.
Okay. I motion to approve the agreement to rehabilitate 19 Webb Street.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Item J, correspondence received from Ms. Veronica Hernandez, 4250 Baltimore Avenue, requesting permission to hold a block party on the 4200 block of Baltimore Avenue from 142nd Street to 143rd Street on July 25th, 2020, between 3 p.m. to 10 p.m. with street closure. Can't be that many houses.
No, no.
1, 2,
It's,
3, 4, 5.
no, I would, man. I'm surprised there's that many, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
You good?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we're gonna send this to Public Works, right? Okay, they're not asking for anything. I don't see nothing here. Oh, wait. Okay,
Send it anyway?
yeah.
Board of Public Works. Okay, I'm going to make a motion to approve Ms. Hernandez's request and to forward the information to the Board of Public Works.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Item K, correspondence received from Walmart, 7850 Cabela Drive, requesting permission to hold a drive-in night movie on September 25th, 2020, and September 26th, 2020. What nights? September?
It's a Friday, Saturday. I mean, it's on their property, right?
You wanna defer it a week to get an understanding of what they wanna do?
Yeah, maybe talk to Kevin.
Do you wanna defer it a week so we can understand what it is they exactly wanna do?
Allow police and.
Okay.
Mr.
I mean,
President, on this
we've
request.
got a little bit of time.
Okay, yeah, we do. It's September, I think, so I was hoping that either police and/or any other department would weigh in on what would be needed for that request at Walmart.
30th, or should we go another week?
You wanna go a couple weeks?
Yeah.
All right, let's do that.
I'm going to defer it a couple weeks, okay?
Yeah, would you be able to use that time to reach out to her?
For sure,
Okay,
yeah, for
yep,
sure.
that'd be fine.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to motion that we defer this request into the August 6, 2020 meeting so I can have time to meet with them and find out exactly what they want.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Item L, correspondence received requesting rental registration hearings.
September 3rd?
But you're bumped up.
Okay. That's
Okay,
fine.
I'm going to make a motion, we set these hearings for September 3rd, 2020.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Item M, garage sale permit submitted for approval. Oh, I should have split them up.
That's all good.
My head's in a gyre this morning. Kind of like yours, right?
For sure, mine, for sure. There's no doubt about it. Okay,
Good?
yep. I motion we approve the garage sale permits.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Item N, rental registration hearings on property located at 26 William Street, 7130 Alabama Avenue, 7427 Chestnut Avenue, 1112 170th Place, 411 Conkey Street, 7341 Monroe Avenue, 4731 Hickory Avenue, 632 Sibley Street, 709 Goslin Street, 928 May Street, 1212 150th Street, 4839 Elm Avenue, 4838 Elm Avenue, 4837 Elm Avenue, 4419 Wabash Avenue, 6549 Colorado Avenue, 5736 Northcott Avenue, 6624 California Avenue, 1 Lion Street, 848 114th Street, 4407 Ash Avenue, 1332 Truman Street, 2122 Atchison Avenue, 1318 Stanton Avenue, 1746 Lake Avenue, and 5970 Park Place. First one being 26 William Street.
Mr. President,
and so
Mr.
on.
Pareto needs a little bit more time to get organized. If we could just skip over this agenda item and perhaps move down to old business while he's ready, while he gets
Okay.
ready.
All right, with everybody's understanding, we're gonna shoot past item N. We're gonna shoot past item O. That's gonna be a lengthy discussion there. We're gonna go to matters from board members and fly through old business really quick. Matters from other board members, I do have one. We see some correspondence from Public Works, Gary Gleason, in regards to MLK Park, and we will be taking that and making a decision on that shortly. That's just acknowledgement. Anything else?
No, no, sir.
No? Matters from other department heads or their representatives? Anything? No? Okay. New business, there is none. Old business, item double A. Hearing on demolition of property located at 4339 Holman Avenue.
Good morning, Board.
Morning.
You remember this was a situation when a gentleman had a rear house that was on the demolition list, but he was using it as a shed. He had pulled a permit to side said shed, and we stopped the work because we thought he was going to use the house. I made an agreement with him that if he pulled the plumbing and electrical out, anything that was not necessary, we would not demo the house, he could use it as a shed. He's not pulled that permit yet. I don't have a status of he's doing that work without the permit, so we will follow up. The order will stand. Is he? Wonderful here, sir. Please let us know where you're at on this.
Yeah, I was supposed to stop. Unfortunately, I had some health issues. I was not able to come in. But I will pull the permit. Mr. Kelly advised me that just to pull it, there was not going to be a charge for it, so that we could pull electrical. There's nothing been done because, again, I've been under bad health and just starting to get a little bit better. But I am going to go ahead and pull that, and we're going to go ahead and take care of, getting the wires out. There's no plumbing inside. There's no running water. There's nothing in there. Again, that's the only reason I'm using that as a storage shed, and that's actually the only thing that I'm using it for.
Mr. President, we'd request a status in the month, just to check on.
30 days?
Yep, 30 days.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine. Just come back with August 20th, so give us an update.
August 20th?
Yeah, make sure you do it by then, okay?
I'm going to make a motion that we set this over for status for August 20th, 2020.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you. Item BB, request for extension of demolition hearing date on property located at 1940 Lincoln Street.
1940 Lincoln.
Anne Marie Franklin?
This property has been vacant for 15 years. The owner is trying to clean up and rehabilitate it, does not have the means, the knowledge, or the ability to do it herself. It's been basically stagnant. I am not in favor of any extension, considering there's been no good faith in trying to accomplish what needs to be accomplished. Neighborhood has been dealing with this property for some time, and so have we. She's here to ask for an extension, and without any proof showing that she's going to be able to do the work that needs to be done.
How long has it been on the demo list, do you know?
It's going on 2.5 years now.
And nothing's been done?
Nothing of great,
Okay.
yeah, not anything significant.
Okay, so I need to deny the request. Okay, I'm going to make a motion that we deny the request for the extension of demolition for 1940 Lincoln Street.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Item CC, permanent covenant of use restriction to run with the land located at 1503 Myrtle Avenue.
Hello, Board. As you remember, this was a order for removal of a center apartment that did not meet code requirements to be used as habitable space. We have not had correspondence with the owners in the last few months. I did send them a letter out saying that their new date would be today, and I have not heard from them. At this time, we're just asking for the order of removal of the apartment, if we haven't already established that.
I thought we did, but we did, right?
Yeah, I think because we never received anything back from them, I think we're just going to proceed with making sure that that middle gets removed and that they're not going to do a covenant that runs with the land. We're just going to have to proceed and get that middle unit out.
We will set an inspection to make sure that it is still vacant. They have not responded to anything since the board has offered them the deed restriction. And it's not registered at this point either.
Time.
Yeah, but I thought we approved it, so I don't know what we need to do today.
Okay. And we'll probably proceed with the order to repair or demolish.
Yep, we'll put it back on the demo list and we'll do an order to repair or demolish, and maybe that'll get their attention as well.
So we had an agreement when they were here, and there's been very little correspondence, if none.
Well, there's been
since
correspondence from us to them.
Yes.
But they have not, so what we did is we sent them the use restriction, and said, here's the covenant, sign it, get it back, we'll record it. They never returned it.
Okay,
Nothing, we sent it,
Three-
right, 3 times? maybe?
3 separate hearings.
Yeah.
okay.
So there's nothing really, it's old business just because it was up for that issue. But at this point, there's nothing for the board to do. We'll just probably proceed on our end with either citation or order to demolish, so.
Okay.
Thank you.
It can come off of old business.
So there's no motion involved, right? Acknowledgement, okay. Acknowledge the issue, okay? Item DD, request received from Laughing Right Production, Inc., 5217 Holman Avenue, requesting permission to hold outdoor events at 5216 Holman Avenue. Mr. Talon, good morning.
Morning. I have spoken to the folks from Laughing Right Productions. We are in agreement with them hosting events at that site. Obviously, we're going to be subject to a lot of things, the cleaning up the site after an event is held there, making sure that there's a safety protocol for vehicles that are going to be driving by and parking in that area. But we are working together with them, so we are comfortable with them using that site for these types of events. Obviously, if something does not work at one of the earlier events, since we've never had any experience with them before, then we might need to pivot at some point and go a different direction.
Their first one is this weekend, right?
They actually moved that back. They're not going to do that now. Obviously, they need a little bit of time to promote the event and
Okay.
get it out to the public.
All right.
So we're going to motion to approve it, pending they follow through with requirements and restrictions, as opposed by the city.
The only thing I was going to ask is if Chief of Staff believes that the police should get in contact with them to see if they need, or Public Works, to see if they need any barricades or they need things like that. Do you have any chance to talk to them about that? Or?
Yeah, we didn't speak specifically about security because the issue or the question is how many people are actually going to show up for an outdoor movie event, for example. I know we've done movies in the park in the past where, we haven't had too many people where security was needed. But I think we need to talk to them and work with them on that, because if they do have a certain amount of people at the event, we're going to need some sort of security protocol in place as well.
Okay, so they're going to reach out to us, or we're going to reach out to them?
I can work together with them. I'll reach out to them and talk them through all the different aspects of hosting an event on city property.
Yeah, and you could just forward them to me when you talk to them.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to make a motion to approve the request, obviously that they have to follow through with the restrictions put on them by the city and requirements, and forward the information to the police department and the street department.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, sir. Item EE, request from First Choice Tobacco and Vape, Inc. to have signage installed at 1534 Indianapolis Boulevard.
Good morning.
Morning.
We had worked with you guys last week and with the city engineering department, my client. We removed the request for no parking sign, or for a 15-minute parking only sign, and we revised it to no parking, for loading and unloading purposes. And we submitted that with the city engineer. We had discussions with them. I didn't know if Mr. Button wanted to make any comments on that, to give you guys a positive recommendation and see what we wanted to do to move forward on that.
So,
Were those temporary signs removed? Like you meant, they're down?
Oh, same day.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Button?
I've reviewed the request, and my position remains the same. I don't support the installation of loading, unloading signs at this time.
Okay. So, Mr. Moore, what you're asking for is loading and unloading. Is there a time attached to it, 15-minute?
No, there was just no parking, loading and unloading sign. And I can get you guys a detail on that sign. I didn't submit it today. I apologize for that, but I can get that to you right away.
And how many spots are you looking at?
There's 3 spots that are out there. We're going to put 1 sign out there, and we can adjust the location to have it 1 spot or 2 spots. I don't know if we want to go for all 3.
Okay. I think whatever we do, we're going to do on a trial basis, 90 days. And see what.
So the sign, Chris, the sign would be put in a place to kind of make it like it's all 3 spots?
We
We're
can-
doing 1 spot specifically?
We would like, the client would like as many as he could get, but I know the city does not want to remove the number of signs on that, or the number of spaces on that, so it's kind of, it would be up to your discretion to allow the number of spots that we would request. We can adjust the sign location to be in front of 1 or 2. But
I think if we're gonna try this, because I think it's gotta be on a trial basis, I think we should do either like a one sign, 1 spot, 30 days, see how it goes, report back, we'll have the owner report back, see how it's going, we'll check on it, and let's see how it goes for 1 sign, 1 spot, and then we'll see, and if it works, and everyone's happy, then we can decide then to make it permanent. If they then request, if they believe they need maybe 2 spots, then we can look at that time, but let's just do it like kind of in baby steps. I think that'd be the most appropriate
I
at
can
this time.
support that recommendation.
And I would suggest that the spot we're going to select would be the one that's the most northern or western
I think I would agree with
boulevard,
that.
right?
Yep.
Because there is an open space behind that where
Correct.
nobody's supposed to park, but they do park. Because I did, so, just checking
problem.
on my due diligence, so, okay. Fair?
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to make a motion that we install 1 sign in the furthest northwestern location for a trial basis of 30 days.
And if you would like, I can revise the print to reflect that and submit it to the board, so they have it for record. I can have that done today.
If we could just keep this on old business, set it for a status, maybe 30,
Sure.
whatever it is, 4 weeks plus, 4 or 5 weeks down the road.
All right.
Yeah,
Okay, do we need to pick a
5
date
weeks,
then?
just because it'll take a little time to get the sign out.
August 27th is a little bit over, right?
That's fine.
good. Okay, I'm going to also add to the motion that I would like to set this over for status for August 27th, 2020, and at that time, we'll make a decision on other factors.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. President, I request the board to go back to the regular order of business. Mr. Prieto is ready with item N.
All right. All right, let me see here. Item. Okay, so I presume we're going to Properties Broderick Benjamin LLC. Is that right, Jaime?
Correct, correct. My
26
apologies to the board. It took a little bit to get together.
Oh,
So yes, if you'd like to give their properties, that's fine. If not, I can make this a lot smoother, if possible.
smooth is good.
Okay. All right. First properties, starting with 26-8 Williams, Mr. Rudolph. Mr. Rudolph is here. He is a property manager for Broderick Benjamin LLC. He did sign the forms. He agreed for the late fee to be waived. This is 9 units total at a total of $45.
Oh, so we're going to do them all, that he's a property manager too. Okay, so,
And I can give you,
Should I list the address of each one?
That is, address is 26 Williams, 7130 Alabama, 7427 Chestnut, 1112 170th Place, 411 Conkey Street, 7341 Monroe, and 4731 Hickory.
Okay, you say 9 units for,
Right, for the year 2020, which will be $45 total.
and you agree with what you guys agreed to, sir?
Okay, I make a motion that we accept the agreement for the properties listed by,
Roderick Benjamin LLC.
yeah.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
I'll talk to you in a bit. I'll talk to you in a little bit.
I don't think so, no, because it's on here.
Yeah.
What is today?
23rd.
Next ones are 709 Gosselin and 632 Sibley, both owned by Paragon Properties. No one has showed up. We have a total of 5 units for a total of, never mind. Are you Mr. Matavina?
Yes.
Okay, so if you agree to this, we're going to waive the late fee. Okay, I just need for you to sign here, and you can have a seat right there and sign those right here.
How many units, Jaime? 2?
This is 5 total. For a total of $25 for the year 2020.
Do we have the right one? What are the addresses again, Jaime?
Those addresses are 632 Sibley
Yes?
and 709 Gosselin.
Okay, gotcha.
Probably 2 and a 3.
3, gotcha. Okay.
For a total of $30?
25, right?
Or
25.
25,
25,
just
correct.
trying, see if you're paying attention. Waiving the late fee, okay. Are you in favor of the agreement, sir? You're in favor?
Are you in favor of the
You're in
agreement?
favor of the agreement, what you just saying?
right.
Okay. All right, thank you, sir.
Well, inadvertently, I thought with July 15th, like the tax thing did, and I come down with cancer in February, and this exaggerated the old situation.
All right, sir. Thank you very much.
I'll motion that we approve the agreement with the city for 632 Sibley and 709 Goslin.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, sir.
Next one is 928 May Street. All right. Yeah, we're going to waive the late fee. It's a single-family home.
Did this get sent to me?
Yeah, if you're here. But we're going to waive the late fee. Okay.
My phone number?
Yeah. Thank you. So Mr. Valtiero has agreed to have the late fee waived
Okay.
for a single family home for a total of $5 for the year 2020.
Your agreement, sir?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Motion, we approve the agreement with the city for 928 May Street.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Uh, 150th? Oh, sorry.
1212 150th. I spoke to Mr. Guzman. We have to set an internal inspection up before we move along with the rental for the year 2020. So I will be speaking to Mr. Guzman afterwards. If we can move this 30 days, that would be fine.
150th, 30 days.
August 20th or 27th? Okay. In reference to 1212 150th, I make a motion that we set it for status for August 27, 2020.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Next one is 4839 Elm. You know what, let's go to 4838 Elm, excuse me. Ms. Tellez? Ms. Tellez is not here. We were going to waive the late fee. She owed $5 for 2020.
You've not gotten what? Oh,
An agreement, a signed agreement.
she's not here.
That's attached to Juan Vega. Oh, that's attached to those addresses. I mean, that address is, looks like it's attached to Juan Vega.
Yes, I spoke to Mr. Vega. This is not part of his properties.
So it was an error then?
It was an error, yes.
Okay.
Mr. Vega has the two other properties on Elm.
In reference to 4838 Elm, I'm going to make a motion that we apply the $500 late fee for 2020 for one unit.
Thank you.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Next, we'll go to Mr. Vega's properties, 4839 Elm and 4837 Elm. Mr. Vega did sign the agreement. This is 3 units total for the amount of $15 for the year 2020.
Jaime, give me his three, because I took, there was 4838 Elm was on one of them. What's the third one?
Okay, 4839 Elm
Yes?
and 4837 Elm.
Gotcha, okay.
Is Mr. Vega's.
Just making sure. You agree to that, sir? Thank you. I'll make a motion that we approve the agreement with the city for 4839 Elm and 4837 Elm.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye?
Aye. I think we need to go back.
Next ones are 6549 Colorado and 4419 Wabash, both owned by Mr. Rudolph, who again is here. These are both single-family homes. So we are asking for the late fees to be waived, total $10 for the year 2020.
6549. 419. And you're in agreement with these, sir?
Okay, I make a motion, we approve the agreement with the city for 4419 Wabash and 6549 Colorado.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye?
Aye.
Next one is 5736 Northcott. Ms. Patterson is here. This is a single-family home. We are waiving the late fee for 2020. It was $5.
You're in agreement, ma'am?
Yes.
All righty.
Okay, I motion, we approve the agreement for 50, with the city for 5736 Northcott.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye?
Aye. Thank you.
Next one is 6624 California Avenue. Mr. Campos? This is one unit. We're going to waive the late fee for 2020. Okay, so you go for that, so it's $5. Okay. So just sign that. Mr. Campos is signing the agreement to waive the late fee for one single-family home. A total of $5.
You're in agreement, sir?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
And which one was that? 50? Oh,
6624 California. I'm going to make a motion to approve the agreement with the city for 6624 California Avenue.
I second.
all those in favor?
Aye?
Aye.
Stick around. Next one shows 1 Lyons, but the actual address is 1029 Lyons. Mr. Elmore is here for his mom, representing his mom. This is 2 units total. 1 unit is owner occupied. So Ms. Elmore owes $5 for 1 unit for the year 2020.
You're in agreement, sir? Yes. Thank you very much.
Okay, I'll motion to approve the agreement with the city for 1029 Lion Street.
I
And
second.
just stick around.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Next one is 848 114th Street. Ms. Garcia is here. This is 2 units, owner occupied, and 1 is rental. We're going to waive the late fee for 2019 and 2020 for the 1 unit, so she will owe $10. And she is here and has signed the agreement.
And you're in agreement, ma'am? Yes. Thank you.
Motion to approve the agreement with the city for 848 114th Street for the year 2019 and 2020.
I second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Next is 4407 Ash. Ms. Angel is here. This is 5 units. We are going to waive the late fee for 2020 at a total of $25.
You're in agreement? All right, thank you.
A motion to approve the agreement for 4407 Ash with the city for the late fee for 2020.
I second.
Waiving late fee, sorry.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Next is 1332 Truman. Mr. Ruiz is here. This is 2 units. 1 is owner occupied. We are waiving the late fee for 2020 at a total of $5.
You're in agreement with this, sir? All right, thank you.
Motion to approve the agreement with, for 1332 Truman with the city.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Next, we have 2122 Atchison, 1318 Stanton, and 1746 Lake. Owner, Mr. Holmes, is here. He did sign the agreement. 4 units total. We're waiving the late fee for 2020 at a cost of $20.
You're in agreement, sir? Yes, sir. All right, thank you very much.
Motion we approve the agreement with the city.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And last but not least, 5970 Park Place. Mr. O'Keefe is here. He did sign the agreement. This is 2 units. We are waiving the late fee for 2020, and he owes $10.
You're in agreement, sir? Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay, I make a motion we approve the agreement with the city.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
If the board will allow me to make an announcement to those with rental registrations.
Yes.
Anyone with rental registrations, please stick around. You will get a card afterwards, and then you can register downstairs.
Okay, those of you would indulge us in a 10 or 15-minute break so we can get this rental registration paperwork to the individuals who need it, and then we'll be able to take notes and pay attention to, obviously, the last order of business, which is our dog hearing. So 15 minutes, if you don't mind. If you could be back at that short postponement so we could get the rental registration paperwork out of the way and we can focus on the dog hearing. If I may, real quick, I'd like to go back to item N, rental registration. Someone we missed under item N.
Thank you. This concerns Gold Manor and Saxony Homes. There is a large amount, about 140 properties, I believe. It was thought to be on the agenda today, and it did not make the agenda. Obviously, they want to have a hearing. We'd want to have a hearing.
Okay.
We can set this out for 30 days, so we get a set date, and we'll be prepared at that time.
Is that
That's fine.
fine with you, 30 days out?
Yep.
Where are they going to put us, August?
20th or 27th?
August 27th?
Fine with
Is
me.
that fine?
Yes, that's fine.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to make a motion, we set those hearings for Saxon Homes for August 27th, 2020.
I second.
All those in favor?
Get your card downstairs if you want.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item O, dangerous dog hearing. Is the other party here?
Yes,
Okay. Okay.
this is Attorney Michael Campbell. He's representing the dog owner. And
Thank you for,
Sure. For the record, Kristen Hill on behalf of the city. We had some discussions before we started, and this is described by ordinance as a hearing. Mr. Campbell has asked for the opportunity to go first, and that way he gets to go last and have the last say as well. And if that's okay with the board, the city is agreeable. So in other words, he's going to present his case first, then I'll go, and then he'll have the opportunity to call back any witnesses in rebuttal.
and you're fine with that?
He's requested that, and I'm fine with that. Is that
Okay.
correct, Mike?
Mike, you fine?
I'm good with it.
All right, that's fine.
Where would you like my client to be seated at? He's going to actually give the testimony. Come on right up here.
Yeah, he can sit in the front row right here. That's fine.
Come up here.
And I think perhaps it might be appropriate if Ms. Lavalette swear the witnesses. You want to do that all, if the board wishes, she can do that all at once, or swear each witness individually.
I think we could do it all at once.
Raise your right hand. Swear the testimony you're about to give the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do.
Thank you.
The record could show the witnesses sworn, please.
Okay. Good morning.
Morning.
Appreciate your guys' time and willingness to hear this matter. What you'll see here today is there were two dogs that were involved in an attack of Mr. Sepulveda. Only one of the dogs is owned by my client, and that's Prince. It's a cane corso. Mr. Philander White, my client, would be addressing the board to give you some context and some background on Prince. Prince, just so you know, he's still 1 year old. He's not yet 2. You'll hear from Mr. White that Prince has always been a good dog. What happened here was truly tragic, but also you'll hear that the seriousness of the injuries were done by a white dog. And so ultimately we're going to be asking is that with strict conformity with the ordinance for a dangerous dog determination, assuming that's how the court would determine Prince to be a dangerous dog, that with full strict compliance with the ordinance requirements, that this situation would certainly never happen again, and we'd ask that you would ultimately give Prince one last chance. Without anything further, Philander, would you please state your full name to the board? And where would you like him to sit? Just right there?
Right, right.
Or right next to me? Okay.
Mr. Campbell, would it be okay if I just made a brief statement?
Sure.
Thank you. And I'm going to and it is the city's position that this dog has been declared a dangerous dog by animal control. Can I get the mic?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
That's okay. This dog has been declared a dangerous dog by animal control. This is the city's contention is it is a concerted attack by 2 dogs. The reason that only 1 dog is before you today is because the other dog has is either abandoned or nobody has come forward to make a claim on this dog. There's a black dog, Prince, and a white dog that's a pit bull. Prince is a Cane Corso, the white dog is a pit bull. You're only here to decide about Prince. Animal Control has made a determination that Prince should be humanely euthanized, and that is what Mr. Campbell and his client are contesting. I do just have some documents, just so you can have these copies. I'm sure you have them. I do have a copy of the dangerous animal ordinance in case the board wants to review its obligations, as well as city ordinance defining a dangerous animal. I have one copy for each of you.
Okay.
All right? And with that, I would defer to Mr. Campbell.
Okay. And also, if I may, I have packets for each of you, that some things will be addressed throughout the testimony.
Sure, thank you.
And the city may be objecting to reference to those as we go on, but I have no objection to Mr. Campbell tendering those to you at this time.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, Philander, do you live here in Hammond?
Yes, I do.
Okay, where do you live?
936 Bauer Street.
Okay, and do you own Prince, a Cane Corso?
Yes, I do.
And this is the reason why we're here today is because Prince has been determined by Hammond Animal Control to be a dangerous animal. Is that your understanding?
To my understanding, that's what I've heard.
Okay, how old is Prince?
1.
He's 1 year old?
Yes.
Can you tell me, where'd you get him from?
I bought him from a friend of mine.
Okay.
He trains animals, and a lot of his dogs are pretty well trained, and so.
Okay. And so you bought Prince when Prince was a puppy?
I've had him since he was 5 weeks.
5 weeks? Okay. Tell us about Prince. You know, as he was growing up, his demeanor, the type of dog that he is, that you know him to be.
I have children. I have a lot of family that's around my house, babies and things of that nature. So I've tried to train him where he's around people. Never seen him like aggressive towards anybody. I know he doesn't like fireworks, kind of startles him. The vacuum cleaner startles him. Maybe even when I mow my lawn, that bothers him. Other than that, I've never seen him like aggressive or anything of that nature, unless maybe somebody rings the doorbell or is knocking at the window or something like that, just being a dog. But when a person comes in, it's kind of like, you know, he's wagging, and I don't understand why they would declare him dangerous, because I'm sure they've been around him. Just not sure exactly why.
So,
I mean, outside of the bite, which I am extremely apologetic for, because I never would have wanted this to happen to anyone.
all right. So with Prince, as he was growing up, did you ever notice any type of aggressive tendencies in Prince outside of, I guess, normal puppy behavior?
I've never seen him like that at all. Like, I've taken him to the dog parks and stuff like that. He's not an aggressive dog at all, by any means.
Okay. Now, Prince, you live in Hammond. He's up to date on all of his vaccines?
Everything. I do a lot of traveling out of town, so I have to board him a lot. And that's another thing. He's around people because I have to board him at least twice a month. And I'm pretty sure that they would have probably had a problem with boarding him if he was a dangerous dog.
Okay. So he is licensed with the city of Hammond?
He's licensed with Hammond.
Okay, and that's in the packet that I provided to you, gentlemen? And he is, again, up to date on all of his vaccines?
Rabies, distemper, everything that you can name. I mean, you can't board him without having the proper flea, tick, everything. I've paid a lot of money for him, so taken really good care of him.
Okay. And that's also, there's an invoice showing from Ridge Animal Clinic,
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
And that's, and this is a true and accurate invoice of
of different vaccinations and shots that Prince has been given?
Yes.
Okay, and you have no reason to dispute the authenticity of the photocopy of the 2020 animal license for the city of Hammond? Is that inaccurate?
Yes, that's
Okay.
it.
Now, tell us a little bit about how your house is set up. You obviously have a backyard. Is there a fence in the backyard?
Yes, there's a fence, privacy fence.
A privacy fence? How tall is that fence?
It's regulation 6 feet.
Okay. What kind of material is the fence?
The wood, privacy wood.
Okay. And Prince, does he ever, do you ever let him out do you ever knowingly let him out without any type of a leash or restraint?
I just let him out in the backyard for the most part because it's fenced in. I let him out to use the bathroom and then I bring him back in. Sometimes I'll leave him out there a little while longer just to get some air because he's in the house a lot. But other than that, I don't.
So that fence, is there a gate to the fence?
I have 2 gated doors, one to the alley where I take the garbage out. It's a door. And then there's another door that you can access from the side walkway.
Okay. I'm showing you 2 photographs that you had provided to us of your backyard. Does this accurately depict your backyard?
Yes.
Okay. And in fact, you've actually, you're going to be doing some additional renovations, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Can you tell the board a little bit about those renovations?
Yes, my neighbor, I've lived in Hammond, I've been a resident for 16 years. I've also owned another dog. He passed away, unfortunately. I had him from birth, from 5 weeks to 16. He just died recently. That was the reason of getting Prince. My neighbor's fence has been up since I moved there, and it's kind of a little shaky. And I've been wanting to do it for a while. And so I figured, why not now, just to make sure that if I could, man, God granted be or you all to let me get my dog back, that there will be no mistakes, if any at all.
So now, to be clear though, from your understanding, Prince getting out didn't necessarily have to do anything with the structural integrity of the fence? Okay. But on your understanding, how did he get out?
What I found out was a female friend of mine, she didn't close the gate all of the way. So when I let him out, I just closed the door thinking that it was the normal day. And when I went back out there to get him, he wasn't out there. And so I drove around like a madman looking for my dog, my kids.
Okay. And now you referenced that children live with you, but would you specify their ages?
Yes, I have a 16-year-old, a 20-year-old, and a 22-year-old.
Okay, so we're not talking about any little children in the home? Okay. And so these additional repairs, I guess, that you want to make to the fence, there's an invoice here, or a quote for that, for $1,700 from All Type Fence Company?
Yes, the original idea was to go half on that particular fence with my neighbor. Unfortunately, her husband passed, and so she doesn't have the necessary means to do that. So I told her I would just take care of it myself, and that's pretty much where we are now.
Okay. With regard to homeowners insurance and having coverage for any type of a liability, with regard to Prince, I guess that we're not actually sure if insurance coverage will or will not cover the unfortunate injuries to Mr. Sepulveda. I don't want to mispronounce his name, but I hope I pronounced that accurately. And then you also looked into, just to be sure, getting an additional policy. Is that correct?
Yes, I obtained an additional policy with Allstate for $300,000 liability insurance for him in case any incidents happen, which will never happen again.
Okay, and in the packet that I provided to the board, there's some documents listed regarding Allstate personalized insurance proposal. Is that what you're referring to?
Yes.
Okay, and taking a look at this quickly, is this a true and accurate copy of the proposal as you
Yes, sir.
received it? Okay. And you specifically spoke with them about any, obviously this should never happen again.
Yeah.
But you specifically talked to them?
Yes, I did.
Okay, and they said it would be covered?
It would be good.
Okay. You reached out to Mr. K-9 Dog Training Facility in South Holland. Can you tell us a little bit about that facility?
Yes, that facility is located in South Holland, Illinois. My mother resides there. I've taken all of the animals that I've had in the past there. Unfortunately, Prince, he's been there for a class or two, but he ended up breaking his back hind leg, and so unfortunately we couldn't continue the training for him, but he's completed obedience, and we want to get another round of that in. Due to, of course, the nature of this situation, I'm going to put him through the classes again. It's going to be like a 2-month course, 2 to 3 times a week. And, I just really feel like he's old enough really to know exactly what's going on. I'm sure he was scared not having me. I'm sure he's scared now. It's just an unfortunate incident all the way around. I'm hurt. I'm sure the guy that was bitten is hurt. I'm extremely apologetic for this incident, and I assure you that if you all allow my puppy to live, it will never happen again.
Khalil Phillips, he's the owner of Mr. K-9 Dog Training Facility?
Yes, him and his father have been, actually his father, that's who I got. Okay, his son is the one who I got the puppy from. His father trained his father.
His meaning Prince's father?
Prince's father.
Okay.
They're all around, they're just good dogs. Khalil has been training, I would say, for as long as I've been in Hammond. His father has been training his father is like 70 now, so he's been training for, I would say, maybe 40 years. And the training that's done, it's around other dogs, around other people. None of the dogs are muzzled. None of the dogs are aggressive. If you have an aggressive dog, then they won't allow you to do group training. And we never had that problem with Prince.
Okay, so to be clear, Khalil Phillips and his dad, they've actually trained Prince's familial line?
Yes.
Okay, and that's why you're most comfortable taking Prince there for additional training?
Yes.
Okay. Now, you've obviously had conversations with Mr. Phillips. Can you tell us, what the substance of those conversations, as far as with Prince and future training, what expectations would be? What is going on in your mind as far as, if Prince is allowed to live, what are you expecting out of this training?
More so, I believe that with the extensive training that we plan to do with him with 3 days a week, if they'll let me come even more, I'll take him more. But as for right now, he said he thinks 2 to 3 days a week would suffice for Prince, because he knows his normal commands: sit, heel, stay. If I walk to the corner and I say stay, Prince doesn't move, like, at all. Like I said, I've never seen this before. I'm not really sure exactly why this happened. But I believe that this training with this particular facility is great for him. They're recommended everywhere. I believe they do South Holland's K-9s as well, police department.
So one of the things that, aside from obviously reinforcing obedience training, one of the things that Mr. K-9 and his facility, what they would be doing is also working in basically situational obedience. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
The situational obedience is putting him in situations where there are people that he doesn't know, be it small, old, large individuals, and kind of like you know, just trying to test him and start on him to see how he will react to those things and then teach from there. I'm not familiar as far as the systematics, as far as how in-depth that goes. But from what I've seen of his dogs, I mean, it's truly amazing.
So, am I accurately summarizing this? That basically that situational training would be essentially obedience training. So if there's groups of people or something like that, that Prince behaves and that he listens to you and he doesn't just let instincts take over.
Exactly. His total focus will be on me, the owner. He won't focus on anyone else. They have it down packed to where he walks on the left side of you. He's never looking forward. He's always looking at you. Nothing around him even matters anymore as long as you're okay.
Okay. And you, and this training, it's something that you can't afford, correct?
I'm sorry, say that again?
You can afford the training?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Lastly, recognizing that Prince has at least initially been determined a dangerous animal, you want to comply with any and all ordinance requirements, correct?
Yes.
All right. You went and got these signs created?
Yes.
Okay. As the board can see, this is verbatim language from the ordinance that's required, should he be determined a dangerous animal but still allowed to live. The sign should be easily visible from the sidewalk. Regarding your property, you have a neighbor to one side, but you don't have a neighbor to the other side, is that correct?
Yes, I have one neighbor next to me, which would be the west side of me, and then to the east side of me, there's it was a house, but it was demolition.
Okay, so your plan on this would be to have one of these right up front in the front of your home, correct?
Yes.
There's two of them, and if you need more, you'll obviously get more?
Yes.
And then the second one, your thought process was to place where?
I would like them to face where from each side, so the left side, the right side, and the center, where if you're walking up. I don't have them in the front, but I just would like to have these signs just so that any and everyone would know that there's a dog on premises.
Okay. At this time, I would move to admit all of the different exhibits that we talked about in the packet into evidence for the board's consideration.
Certainly.
Okay, thank you. Is there anything else that you want to say to Mr. Sepulveda?
Oh, I didn't know he was here. Man, I'm truly sorry that this happened to you. It's an unfortunate incident. I can't imagine what that must have felt like. Truly apologetic, and I hope that you forgive me. It was not the intent of me to personally leave my dog out or have him loose for something like this to happen. And pray that you forgive me. Thank God that didn't happen.
Philander, also, you did purchase a muzzle, correct, for Prince?
Yes,
If you may.
I have another muzzle, and I also obtained another leash for him. It's for his particular breed, which is a mastiff.
So that's for if he's outside of the yard, he's supposed to be muzzled,
Correct.
right?
Correct. Pursuant to the ordinance and the requirements stated therein.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Is there anything else you want to say?
Just that, again, Prince is one. I've had him, like I say, since 5 weeks. I didn't think I could get this close to him in this amount of time, but with the situation with his leg being broken, carrying him to the hospital, he wouldn't eat, feeding him through, tubes and things of that nature. I've just got really close to this dog, and he's like one of my children. Like, it's been really hard walking past his cage every day. I wanted to get rid of it because once they declared it dangerous, I felt like I wasn't getting it back. And, it felt like I needed to fight for him, and so that's why we're here.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Campbell.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Sir, I'm going to have some questions for you.
Oh, sure. You're gonna.
You can remain up here, okay? I'm going to have some questions. In case you didn't hear, I'm Kristen Hill. I
Okay.
represent the city. I'm just going to ask you some questions,
All right.
okay? All right. You've had Prince since what age?
5 weeks.
All right, so was he your first cane corso?
Yes.
Okay, and he was removed from his mother at 5 weeks?
Yes.
And was that an appropriate time to remove him from his mother?
I've never had it. All of my dogs that I bought, I usually get them around 5, no later than 6 weeks.
All right. And were you familiar with the breed when you got Prince?
I have a couple of cane corsos in my family, so I'm pretty familiar with the breed.
And would you agree that the cane corso is a pretty large, powerful dog when it's full grown?
Yes.
And what was Prince's birth date?
His birthday is October 17th, 2018.
All right. So he's going to be 2 in about 3 months from now.
Yes.
Okay. And do you have any other dogs in your home?
No.
Has Prince been around other dogs?
Yes.
What types of other dogs has Prince been around?
Well, at the dog park, there's all types of dogs. So he's been around small dogs. My mom owns I don't know if it's miniature pinscher or something like that. He's around her. So I've seen him around from small dogs to dogs his size.
And what dog parks have you taken Prince to?
There's the one that I would frequent the most it's on Indianapolis Boulevard, like where the Gold's Gym, I believe. The Gold's Gym was there.
At Wicker Park?
Yes.
And you've registered Prince with North Township to get privileges at Wicker Park?
I never knew that I had to do that.
All right, well, is that not a locked facility?
No, not to my understanding.
You don't believe that the Wicker Park Dog Park is a locked facility?
I mean, I've just walked in the gate with them with other dogs. I've never been locked to my understanding.
Any other dog parks?
No, that's the only one that's close by me.
All right, and how often would you take Prince to that dog park?
Now, from what I'm doing now, I'm not able to take him as much as I used to. Like I say, he's broke his leg. So the only time that he really was up there was when he was a puppy because I wanted to socialize him with other people and other dogs.
All right, so Prince, what kind of socialization has Prince had in the last year with other people and other dogs?
My family and the boarding and my friends as well, because I don't put him up when I have company.
So Prince hasn't been socialized with strangers yet?
No, not outside of with me.
All right. And you've mentioned that you boarded him a couple of times a month. Where would you board Prince?
Sibley Animal Hospital.
And was there any particular reason why you would board Prince a couple times a month?
Yes, I travel a lot.
All right. And who lives in your home with you?
I'm by myself.
Oh, okay. So the kids you mentioned, they don't live with you.
Well, my 16-year-old, right now, due to the COVID situation, he's frequenting here more now, but he's moved to Valparaiso. He's attending Valparaiso High School.
All right. And how long of a period of time would you board Prince at Sibley Animal Hospital?
Usually no more than 4 days.
All right. So about 4 days, twice a month?
I would say.
And for what period of time?
I don't understand what you mean.
Well, you've said a couple times a month.
Right.
Okay, over what period of time would you board him a couple times a month?
Since he's been maybe a little over a year.
All right, so he's 21 months now. So for the last 9 months, you've boarded Prince For 4 days at a time, twice a month?
Sometimes once a month, sometimes twice a month, sometimes it might be 3 times a month.
All right, so, but on average, 2 times a month?
Yes,
For up to 4 days at a time?
yes,
And Sibley Animal Hospital, that's just a veterinarian, correct?
yes.
They're not, they're a rather small structure, and the dogs are boarded and kept in kennels while they're there, correct?
I'm not quite certain how they go about that. They just take him from me. They make sure that he's up to date with all of his shots have been through them. So they take him, give me my leash. They put another leash on him, and to the back he goes.
All right, and you don't know what happens in the back?
No, I don't.
You don't know how big the cage is that he's kept in for 4 days, or how much exercise he gets, or anything like that, correct?
I just know that he doesn't know the people that I'm handing him off to
He doesn't know the people you're handing him off to.
from the first time, or because it's not always the same person that takes him.
All right, but they're all employees of Sibley Animal Hospital, right?
Yes,
So unless there's monthly turnover, he is familiar with the people at Sibley Animal Hospital, right?
yes.
Okay. All right. And where did you get prints from?
From my friend that trains dogs.
All right, the gentleman from the Mr. Canine?
Well, he doesn't himself, he doesn't sell dogs, but he has people that sell dogs, and he recommends certain dogs, certain breeds that he feels are good picks for people that are looking for a certain type of animal.
Okay, so who did you get the dog from?
I just made you aware of
Well,
it.
you told me that Mr. Canine doesn't sell dogs. He hooks you people up with people who are selling dogs.
Well, I've been looking for a cane corso for over a year after my dog passed away, and he made me aware that he had people that had cane corsos, and so.
All right. And I guess my question is, did you obtain prints directly from the seller, or did you get him from Mr. Canine, who got him from the seller?
Ma'am, I don't have like a direct answer for that. I never met the guy that he got the dog from. He just showed me the puppies, and that was that. I paid him, and.
Okay, you paid who?
The guy Khalil.
Khalil is the guy from Mr. Canine.
Yes.
Khalil is not the breeder.
No.
Khalil was the middleman for you getting the dog.
Exactly.
Okay, so you never met the breeder.
No.
You never met the parents of the dog.
Well, I met the parents of the dog
When did you meet the parents of the dog?
at the training facility.
Through Khalil.
Yes.
Were the owners of the parents there? Did you meet them? Or were these parents just at Khalil's facility?
I never met him. That never was my concern. My only concern was buying the dog.
Okay, so you never met any people involved with who owned or bred the parents, correct?
Not to my understanding.
You just saw the parents.
I know that I know his father. Khalil told me like this is Prince's dad right here, and
So you physically laid eyes on Prince's dad, is what
yes,
you're saying?
yes,
All right. And somehow Khalil acted as the middleman for you to get one of these puppies.
well, he also my other dog he got for me as well.
What other dog?
Red, the one that was registered with you all as well.
Okay, what kind of dog was Red?
A pit bull.
Okay, and did you get Red in the same way, with Khalil as a middleman?
Yes.
Okay, so Khalil, correct me if I'm wrong, Khalil knows people who are selling puppies or full-grown dogs, and knows people who are looking for dogs, and he transfers these animals from one side to the other.
Well, I'm sure he's familiar with that because he trains for a living, and so I'm sure it's his job to know people that breed so that they can possibly come and get their dogs trained by him.
Understood, but that's your understanding. That's been Khalil's role in both of these transactions with you, to get the dog from somewhere and give it to you.
In
right?
a sense, yes.
Okay. All right. So the only thing you know about your dog's, Prince's bloodline is what was told to you by Khalil.
And what I've seen through his father.
Okay, how many times have you seen his father?
Just the times that I were at the class, maybe, I don't know, 3, 4 times.
How many times did Prince go to obedience training?
Well, he's been in obedience training at home. I have a trainer that comes by. He's an older guy. I pay him like $300 a month, and he comes by and just works with you, tells you what to do, and then you just practice yourself with the dog.
Okay, so let's start with Mr. Canine, because I believe on your direct testimony, the only thing you mentioned was training at Mr. Canine. You indicated that Prince had been in obedience training, but he broke a leg.
Right.
Okay. Was that obedience training at Mr. Canine?
No, he visited Mr. K9's facility, but unfortunately, due to the incident with Prince's leg, that wasn't suitable.
Okay, Prince visited Mr. Canine's facility for what purpose?
Because Mr. K9 asked me to come up there. He wanted to see the dog's temperament at this particular time. They don't just allow you to come in and just meet your dog or whatever.
Okay, and about how old was Prince when that happened?
I'm not quite certain. I haven't, that's nothing that I've like tried to keep track of.
Okay, so you don't know when Prince visited Mr. Canine?
It was, he visited prior to him breaking his leg. Since then, he hasn't been back.
Okay, when did he break his leg?
He was around, I would say, I don't know, less than a year, 8 or 9 months.
Okay. How did he break his leg?
I really don't know. Just when I came, it really wasn't a break. They couldn't describe exactly what it was. He just had a lot of fluid in his leg, and they wouldn't allow him to put the leg down. I paid a lot of money to get it x-rayed to see what was wrong, and they couldn't figure it out. They just said that this was a freak situation, that they had never seen like fluid that would rise that much in the leg. He almost died from this situation because he couldn't eat, he couldn't drink. And I put him through a lot of everything that they said he could go through, laser treatments, everything. And fortunately, his leg started to come back around.
And he was about 9 months old, you said, when that happened?
Yeah, he just really started really walking again, maybe a little bit after his first birthday.
All right, so for about 3 months, he basically couldn't walk?
Roughly, yeah, roughly.
All right, and where did he get all this treatment?
Sibley Animal Hospital. I took him to Ridge first because he was about to, that's where the receipts where you see fluids, different x-rays and things of that nature. And then they couldn't figure out what it was, so I had spent, I don't know, $900 there.
All right. So sometime before he broke his leg, he visited Mr. Canine. To this day, he's never had training at Mr. Canine, right?
No.
Okay. However, it's your intention, if Prince is spared, to take Prince to Mr. Canine.
Very much.
All right, now you talked about this gentleman who has come to your house and trained Prince.
Uh-huh.
And who is this gentleman?
His name is Bill.
Bill what?
I don't know his last name. I found him online as far as training goes.
Does Bill have a company name?
No, this is just an old gentleman.
All right, and why did you decide to have Bill come to your house and train Prince?
Because at the time, the amount of money that Mr. K9 wanted, I couldn't afford it at that time. And so I was looking for something that was a lot cheaper.
Okay, and how much did Mr. Canine want to train your dog?
He wanted, I believe it was $600 or $700.
All right, and that would be for what?
That would be for the month training, like 3 times a week.
All right, and you didn't want to pay that?
No, I couldn't afford it at that time.
When Mr. Canine evaluated Prince. Did you take him there? Did you take Prince there to be evaluated to find out if he was suitable for training?
Well, they wanted to see him, I wanted them to see him. And then, you know, he needed to be evaluated to see if he could be around other dogs, around other people, or he needed a private session. And it would suffice, but once I heard how much it cost, I couldn't afford that.
Do you know if Mr. Canine made any determination about whether training would be appropriate for Prince, training at that facility?
He said that he would recommend to start around 8 months. He would, after the classes, he would let me, you know, teach me certain things with him to just take home with me. But he said it usually doesn't start till they're around 8 months or so.
All right, so in other words, you took Prince there too soon?
Pretty much, yeah.
All right. And did he think that it would be suitable to train Prince with other dogs, or Prince would have private lessons?
He said that, you know, his temperament was fine, you know, come back in around 8 months if I could afford it, and that we could start the training session.
And the $600 or $700 a month, that was for group classes?
Yes. The private classes are a lot more.
All right, and this Mr. Bill, he was charging you how much?
Like a little less than half of that. Like
All right,
$300.
and did you pay him in cash or by check?
Cash.
So do you have any receipts for that?
No.
And how often did Bill come to your house?
With him, he stays in the city, so it's like he would come in the beginning like once a week, and then from there, once he sees that Prince was progressing in certain areas, then he would just come back to try new things with him. At first, it was just strictly obedience. Then from there, we began with the actual sit, and where I can walk away from him. Pretty much you start with leash training, and then from leash, then you move on to without the leash training.
And how many times did Bill come to your house to train your dog?
Well, we really didn't have that many sessions because Prince broke his leg, and then we...
All right,
Yeah.
so this was all, again, before Prince broke his leg?
Yes, I had a session before then, and then 2 after he healed up.
Okay, so Prince has had 3 obedience sessions.
Yes. Well, with me, he's had daily sessions.
You're doing it yourself, but with Bill, the professional, he's had 3 sessions.
Well, that's the purpose of the training is so that you can go back home and implement the training.
Understood, but I'm just asking you, Bill came to your home 3 times?
Yes.
Okay. All right. How did you find out Prince was missing? And this was on June 22nd, right? Just about a month ago?
I know it was the day after Father's Day,
All right, so,
the morning of the next.
all right, if the records indicate that this incident, let's see. All right, if the records indicate that this incident happened on June 22nd, would you dispute that?
No, as long as it was the day after Father's
All
Day.
right, and the day after Father's Day would be a Monday, right? Father's Day is on a Sunday?
So it will be Monday.
Yeah?
Yes.
Okay. And how did you find out he was missing?
I went to the back to go get him, and he wasn't there.
All right, and do you remember about what time that was?
It was early morning. It was around 6 in the morning.
Around 6 in the morning?
Yeah.
So Prince had been out in the early morning hours?
Yes.
Okay. And how long had he been outside?
It was a couple of hours. I had been gone all day because it was Father's Day. I had barbecued and everything for the family.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the reason why I let him out so early, because he had been in the house all day.
All right, so do you know approximately what time you came home and let Prince out?
I don't know exactly what time I got in. I know that when I went to go get him from outside, it was roughly 6 o'clock, no later than 6:15.
All right, and so 6:15 in the morning. Do you
Yes.
know if the dog had been out for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours?
But I don't know. I haven't kept track of these situations because I had no reason to keep track of.
Was it dark when you came home and let the dog out?
Yeah, it was morning time when I got home.
All right, but it was dark,
Yes,
and you let Prince out then?
yes.
Okay, all right. So at some dark time in the morning, you let Prince out because you'd been gone all day.
Yes.
And at about 6:15, 6:30, you noticed he's missing.
It was around, it wasn't later than 6:15.
All right, I didn't remember what you said. I'm not trying to trick you or anything. So 6 o'clock-ish, so in there, you realize Prince is missing.
Correct.
What did you do then?
I went looking for him.
Okay. And did you look on foot? Did you drive around?
Well, at first I started on foot, and then I got in the car and proceeded to just veer through the streets and alleys that were near me. And I couldn't find him anywhere. I drove around for at least, 2 hours. And then I called animal control.
And you live at, 936 Bauer?
Yes.
And where is that in relation to Calumet Avenue?
From my street, it's like 2 blocks away.
All right, are you east or west of Calumet?
I'm west of Calumet.
You're west of Calumet?
I mean east of Calumet.
East of Calumet. Like, right out there somewhere, right? I don't know what side of the building we're on, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I'm walking distance to here.
To here,
Yeah.
okay. All right. You drive around, at some point, did you make any phone calls?
Yes.
And who did you call?
Animal control.
All right. And do you remember what you told Animal Control?
Yes.
What did you tell Animal Control?
That I had 2 dogs that were missing.
All right, 2 dogs. What 2 dogs were missing?
A cane corso, and I don't know what type of breed the other dog is. I believe her dog is a pit bull.
Okay. And whose dog is this pit bull?
Friend of mine, Brittany.
Brittany.
Yes.
So you called, so you weren't just looking for Prince, you were looking for 2 dogs.
Yes, because she was there with me.
All right. This is the young lady who left the gate open?
Yes.
All right. So she left the gate open for her own dog as well, correct?
Yes.
All right. And you don't know what kind of dog this other dog is?
It looks like a pit bull to me.
It looks like a pit bull. But Brittany's never told you what kind of dog this is? You've never asked her?
No, there was no reason to.
Okay. Looks like a pit bull. All right. Do you know what this looks like a pit bull's name is?
Yes.
What's the dog's name?
Coke.
Okay. So you call Animal Control and you told them you're looking for 2 dogs, right?
Yes.
Okay. And did Animal Control give you any information at that time?
No, they said that they didn't have any dogs.
All right. Did you make any other calls?
That was it. I think I might have called them again, probably. I'm not sure.
All right. And how much did Prince weigh at the time of this incident on June 22nd of this year?
I'm not sure. I hadn't been out of town this month. The month prior, he was roughly around 112, I would say.
All right. So we have almost a year-and-a-half-old dog. It's 112 pounds. Is he a pretty strong dog?
For the most part, outside of his leg, he's not able to do as much as I'm sure he would be able to without the injury.
Is the leg still affecting him?
He doesn't walk the same anymore, and that's why I don't take him out and run him and things of that nature anymore. I just kind of let him out in the yard.
Is Prince intact? Is he neutered?
He's intact.
He's intact?
Yes.
Do you have intentions of breeding him?
No.
Is there any particular reason that you didn't get him neutered?
No, I actually never thought about it because I had no intentions of breeding him. So.
All right. And did you eventually hear from Animal Control that they had these 2 missing dogs?
Right.
And how did you find that out?
I believe Chief Shorts, I believe his name is. I had stopped him while I was looking for the dog, and I asked him if he had seen the dog loose, and he said no. And as I was driving through the alley, he stopped me and said that they had found the dogs.
All right, so you found out from Andy Short that they had found the dogs?
Yes.
You know Andy Short from
No, just the neighborhood.
just from the neighborhood?
Yes.
And did he tell you anything else besides they found the dogs?
Not to my recollection.
All right, how did
Just
you,
Animal control had them.
at some point, did you find out that these dogs had been involved in an attack on a person?
Yes, an officer came to the house shortly after and said that the dogs had attacked a man.
All right, and what did you do then?
I called animal control.
All right, and what did animal control tell you, if you remember?
That they had bitten someone and that they would be keeping him for, I think they said 10 days for a quarantine or something to make sure that he didn't have rabies. And that's, to my recollection, that's all I can really remember.
All right, and that would be, they were keeping both dogs, correct?
Yes,
All right, because you had called them about both, right?
yes.
Okay. And, did you have any other communications with animal control after that?
Just to go get Prince when the 10 days was up.
All right, and was Prince released to you?
No,
All right, and he's still in the custody of animal control?
as far as I know.
And did you become aware that animal control had declared Prince a dangerous dog?
That's what they told me, yes,
All right, and that's why we're here today?
correct.
I don't think I have any other questions. Let me just take a look at my notes here. Oh, when did you have insurance at the time of this incident, homeowner's insurance?
At that particular time, due to COVID, it wasn't working, so my insurance lapsed.
So you did not have insurance at the time of this incident?
No,
So this $300,000 policy, or at least the documents that you presented to the board, that was not in effect at the time of the incident?
correct,
There was no insurance in effect at the time of the incident?
correct.
All right, and have you paid any premium towards this $300,000 policy yet?
Yes, well, I ended up getting insurance through another company, but I found out that due to research, I found out that they weren't covering certain particular breeds, and that's how I ended up looking and found Allstate as far as them being able to cover that particular breed.
Okay, so after this incident, you got homeowners insurance through somebody?
Yes,
And who was that?
it's called Hippo.
Sorry?
Hippo Insurance.
Hippo Insurance,
Yes.
okay. All right, and you found out that Hippo's not gonna cover Cane Corso?
Right.
All right, it'll cover some dogs, but not Cane Corso?
Pretty much the only ones they'll cover are the small dogs, like poodles and things of that nature.
Okay, so then you've done some more research, and you found out that presumably Allstate is gonna cover the Cane Corso?
Exactly.
All right, and have you purchased an Allstate policy yet, or are you still covered with Hippo?
I'm still covered with Hippo. I just got the quote and everything so that I could switch it over if I was gonna be able to attain Prince. If I wasn't gonna be able to attain Prince, then I was just gonna keep the insurance that I have.
All right, okay, I don't have any other questions. Did you want to ask him more?
Real quickly, thank you.
Okay.
Blinder?
Yes,
So Prince had an injury to his leg,
yes,
and that prevented him from being in immediate training?
yes,
At a trainer facility?
yes.
Okay, so,
I was literally carrying him pretty much everywhere.
okay. So as of yet, aside from the individual that you hired to come in and help train him in home, and then your own training that you've worked on with him,
Right.
he hasn't had the benefit yet of full, of training at a recognized facility?
Not at all.
No further questions.
Thank you. Nothing further, Ms. Hill? Thank
No,
you,
I
Mr.
have
White.
nothing else.
Thank you, Mr. White.
Mike, did you want to call anybody else?
We do not have anybody else to call.
All right. Okay. Then on behalf of the city, I would first call Officer Crook, and I'll tender to the board, since we'll be referring to it, copies of the police report. Do you have a copy of the police report? All right. And you've been previously sworn as a witness, correct?
Yes, Ms. Hill.
All right, thank you. Can you state your name for the record?
Officer Daniel Crook,
And by whom are you currently employed?
the Hammond Police Department.
And how long have you been employed by the HPD?
12 years, 7 months.
And what are your job duties as a member of the police department?
I'm a patrol officer, an evidence technician, and a field training officer.
And were you working in that capacity on June 22nd, 2020,
Yes, I was.
at approximately in the 6 o'clock hour of that morning?
At approximately 06:45 a.m., I was dispatched to 5635 Walter in reference to a dog bite.
All right. And in the course of your duties with the police department, you've become familiar with the streets and layout of the city of Hammond, correct?
Yes.
And can you explain to the board, although I'm sure that you know, for the record, where is this location in relationship to 936 Bauer?
Approximately 6 blocks.
All right. And we've heard that 936 Bauer is on the east side of Calumet, is that correct?
That's correct.
This Walter Street address, is that east or west of Calumet?
It's 4 blocks west of Calumet.
All right, so these dogs, and you heard the testimony about a black dog and a white dog.
Correct.
That's what you responded to, a black dog and a white dog.
Correct.
All right, so these dogs traveled from one side of Calumet to the other.
Correct.
All right. And you indicated that you were dispatched for a dog incident, correct?
Correct.
And what did you find when you arrived at the scene?
Upon my arrival, I spoke with the victim, Juan Spadova, who called. He had severe injuries to the right side of his face and his leg. He had indicated to me that the dogs were in the backyard. I immediately radioed dispatch to start fire department ambulance to come and tend to his injuries, and I requested that animal control respond to the location as the dogs were in the backyard.
All right, by the dogs were in the backyard, did you understand that to mean that these dogs had been secured in the backyard?
The dogs were in the backyard. It was fenced in. The two residents were there as well.
The dogs weren't loose at that point?
They were not loose.
Within a
They were
fence.
contained in the fence,
They were
yes.
contained in the fence, all right. And did you understand that the incident that had occurred at this location?
Yes.
All right. And did you get an understanding from Mr. Sepulveda what had happened?
Not at that time. I responded to the hospital later and spoke with him, and he kind of told me what happened.
All right. So what were your activities at the scene? You called the ambulance, you called animal control?
Correct. And then I just maintained position, making sure that the dogs didn't escape the fenced yard.
All right. And did you stay there until animal control arrived?
Yes, I did.
Did you remain on the scene after animal control arrived?
Yes, I did. I didn't leave the scene until after animal control had taken possession of the dogs.
All right. Did you have to assist animal control in taking possession of the dogs?
I did not.
Did you observe them attempting to take possession of the dogs?
I did.
And can you describe to the board, if you recall, how that all went down?
The dogs were extremely agitated and hostile. I believe animal control worked for over an hour trying to take possession of these dogs. The dogs were working in a team, attacking the poles and different things. Animal control had to respond back to the animal control building to acquire some type of sedative dart or whatever, and then they returned and attempted to use those darts to subdue the dogs.
All right. Let me ask you this. Do you personally have a dog?
Yes, I do.
All right. And have you owned a dog throughout your life?
Yes.
Okay. So, and you've encountered dogs in your police work?
Yes.
All right. And how would you describe the demeanor of these dogs?
These dogs were extremely aggressive and hostile.
Did you have any concern at some point that you may have to intervene and use, I hate to say it, use your weapon against these dogs?
That is the absolute reason that I stayed on scene, was for animal control safety in the event that their non-lethal methods did not work.
And was there one dog that you would characterize as more aggressive than the other, or?
The black cane corso was far more aggressive while I was on scene.
Okay. What was it doing?
It was attempting to jump the fence and attack the animal control personnel. And as they were using their poles with the capture net, it was attacking the poles.
Okay. It's my understanding that the white dog was injured.
Yes.
Did you observe any injuries to the white dog when you were on the scene?
When I spoke with the residents, they said that they heard the commotion outside, and they came outside with a broom and a knife, they stated, and they attempted to attack the dogs to get them off of the victim.
All right. And did you talk to these people at the scene?
Yes.
Okay. All right. And do you recall who they were?
Yes, Mr. Dela Cruz and Miss Robles.
All right. And were they residents of the place that this attack occurred at?
That is correct.
All right. And did you ever obtain any information telling you why Mr. Sepulveda was at that scene?
Yes, he was there to mow the lawn.
Okay. So he was presumably hired to mow the lawn at that address?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
He wasn't a resident?
He was not a resident. He was there to mow the lawn. I don't know if he was hired or what.
You don't know if he was a relative just helping out, or if
he was there to mow the lawn.
He was there to mow the lawn. All right. So, was the white dog incapacitated in any way while you were viewing it, or was it also acting aggressively?
It was also acting aggressively, but it appeared to be either tired out or possibly injured.
Okay. All right. Okay. So, once animal control gained possession of these dogs and left the scene, what did you do then?
I responded to the hospital to meet with the victim.
And what did the victim tell you, if anything?
He stated that he arrived on scene there at 5635 Walter to mow the lawn. He said that when he fired up the lawnmower, he was attacked by two dogs that he described as a black cane corso and a white pit bull. He said that they knocked him down, bit him in the leg, bit him in the face, and the residents came out, helped him get free, and he called 911.
All right. And were you able to observe any injuries on him at that time?
Yes, I was able to observe his face. There was a nurse on scene in the room working on his face at the time.
All right. And do you have any additional knowledge about this particular incident?
Yes, I also later in the day, dispatch contacted me, and then they asked me to respond to Mr. White's address to advise him of the situation and serve him with a quarantine form.
All right, so you met Mr. White, and that would be the gentleman who's testified earlier?
Correct.
Okay. And you gave him the quarantine form?
Yes, I served him with a quarantine form for the two dogs.
All right, indicating that the dogs were going to be held for 10 days?
Correct.
All right. And you were subpoenaed here to testify today?
Correct.
All right. Did you have any further contact with Mr. White after that day?
Never.
And what about Mr. Sepulveda? Did you have any further contact with him?
No.
That day? All right. And this police report that I've tendered to the board, that's a true and correct copy of the report that you made?
That is correct.
All right. And the narrative that is in this report is based on information that you obtained from the witnesses and the victim?
That is correct.
I don't have any further questions. Mr. Campbell, there you go.
Officer, with regard, so when you responded to where the dogs were at after the incident occurred, that was approximately 6 blocks away from Commander White's home, give or take?
A little more, but yeah.
Okay. So the dogs were somewhere that they weren't familiar with. You would agree with that?
Yes.
Okay. You indicated they seemed anxious.
No, hostile and agitated.
Agitated. Okay. People were attempting to put them in poles.
They were hostile and agitated well before the animal control arrived on scene.
Okay.
Mr. Campbell, could you?
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. Was one of the dogs already stabbed at the time you arrived on scene?
I am not familiar with that.
Okay. The white pit bull, that dog had stab wounds to it, correct?
I did not observe any stab wounds to the white pit bull.
Did you ever follow up on the condition report, though, that someone said that they had attempted to stab one of the dogs, correct?
The residents said that they attacked the dogs with a broom and a knife, but they were not sure if they cut the dog or not.
Okay. So there's a potential that one of these dogs was wounded at the time you arrived at
There's potential.
Okay. And they were using poles to attempt to essentially lasso up and corral them, I guess is.
Correct.
Okay. So these dogs, to the best of your knowledge, they didn't know these individuals who were trying to apprehend them.
Correct.
You filled out a police report in this case, and the board has a copy of it?
Correct.
Okay. In that report, you did speak with Mr. Sepulveda, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And he had told you that that the Cane Corso Prince, that he bit him on the leg, correct?
Correct.
Okay, but then he said that there was the white dog that attacked his face once he was on the ground?
He said he believed.
Okay.
Yeah.
He also stated that after the first bite, he began to swing the lawnmower at the dogs?
Yes.
Okay. No further questions?
I have no questions. Mike, can we release Officer Crook?
Absolutely.
Okay, thanks so much for coming in. Thanks. All right. My next witness would be for the city, Lisa Serrano. And the record will reflect that the witness has been previously sworn. Can you state your name, please?
Lisa Serrano,
And by whom are you currently employed?
Hammond Police Department Animal Control.
And how long have you been employed by that position?
A little over 3 years.
And what are your responsibilities with respect to that job?
The kennel, taking care of the animals, and also going on the street, catching and with dogs and cats.
All right. And does animal control sort of have a rotation as to who's going to be responding for calls during off hours and weekends?
Yes.
And were you the one who was up for rotation on the 22nd of June in the 6 o'clock hour?
Yes.
And did you become aware that there was a situation that you needed to respond to?
The call was 2 aggressive dogs
All right.
that attacked a person
All right. And how did you receive that information?
through dispatch.
All right. And did you have a location for that?
5536 Walter.
All right. And did you respond to that location?
I did, but before I did, it was like a quarter till 7.
Okay.
And Deanna would have been at animal control, so I called her to help me because it was 2 aggressive dogs.
2 aggressive dogs. So you got backup or assistance?
Absolutely.
All right. And by Deanna, you mean Deanna Lugo?
Yes,
And she's a co-employee of the Hammond Animal Control?
yes,
All right. And did you pick her up?
yes,
All right. In the animal control van?
yes,
Okay. And the 2 of you proceeded to the scene?
yes,
All right. And if the record reflects that that would be in the 5600 block of Walter, would that be correct?
yes.
I think you may have said.
55.
55, yeah. But, okay.
It was
And-
Walter.
It was Walter, okay. And what did you find when you got there?
There was 2 police officers there. There was 2 witnesses there. They said that the dogs were towards the back of the yard. I didn't get to see them when we first got there because there was a garage that they were able to go behind. So Deanna was talking with the witnesses, and I proceeded to go to the next yard to get a better angle to see what kind of dogs we were dealing with.
All right.
And as I went into the next yard, it's a 4-foot fence, and there's cars, so there's only so much space between the fence and the cars. As I was proceeding to go, the King Corso charged out, jumped on the fence, and is taller than me, and tried to get me, and I had to lean back.
All right. And how tall are you?
I'm 5 foot.
Okay, and approximately how tall did the Cane Corso reach when it was
Oh, it
standing up?
reached. I had to lean against the car and try to scoot out.
Okay, and you avoided any injury at that time?
Yes, but he was right in my face.
He came right in your face. All right. Let me just back up for just a minute. Was the victim at the scene when you got there?
No.
Okay, he'd already been transported.
Yes.
All right, so did you see another dog as well?
There was a white pit bull that came after the King Corso. King Corso was first, then the pit bull.
Okay, so the pit bull also came up to the fence?
Yes, but stayed back, charged, but didn't come to the fence, like it stayed away.
Were you able, from your position, to see any injuries on the pit bull?
Yes.
And can you describe those injuries?
It looked like it was bleeding from the chest and somewhere from the mouth.
Okay, so you knew that this dog potentially needed some medical assistance?
Yes.
Okay. And did you see any injuries on the Cane Corso?
Not at that time.
Okay. All right. And how long did it take you to get these dogs under control and into the animal control van?
I don't know time frame, but it was long. We tried, every time the white pit bull would kind of lay down, but at a distance, the pole is 5 foot. So I would try to reach over to try to lasso her. The King Corso was extremely protective of her. And he would step over her, he actually got my pole at one point and tried to pull it away from me. He did that with Deanna as well. He was the aggressor of the two.
Okay.
He was extremely protective of her.
All right. And the white dog is a female and the black dog is a male?
Yes.
Okay. And can you describe the pole? I know you've already said it's 5 feet, but what is the purpose of the pole?
It's a snare pole, and it has a wire loop at the end, and you're able to loosen it to make it bigger to get over their head so that you can tighten it and then have control of them.
And this was a tool that you've used successfully before?
Yes.
And you've had occasion to snare approximately how many dogs in your 3 years, would you estimate? Just in your estimation?
I would say a little over 200.
Okay, in 3 years. And have you experienced as much difficulty snaring dogs with that pole as you had in this situation?
Not as bad as this situation.
Okay. And were you able eventually to successfully snare the dogs with the pole, or did you have to resort to other measures as well?
We had to resort to other measures for our safety and everybody there.
What did you have to do?
I went back to the animal control to get darts in order to sedate the dog, to get it. It doesn't knock them out. It just kind of tries to take the edge off.
All right. And did somebody have to dart
Yes.
these dogs? And who did that?
Deanna.
All right. And how many times did she have to dart these dogs? If you know. She'll get a chance to testify, so we're just talking about what you remember.
We used 3 darts, so the white pig got 1, and I think the King Corso needed 2.
All right, that's your recollection?
Yeah.
Okay. And were they then transported back to Hammond Animal Control?
Yes.
All right. And did you at any point talk to the witnesses at the scene?
Yes.
Okay. To take a statement or just
Just to
passing
hear
time?
what happened. I
Okay.
kind of stood there as Deanna was talking to them,
All
and I
right.
heard what they had to say.
So you just sort of overheard what they said. And what generally did they describe?
The only part that I recall is about how the dogs went after them after they attacked the man. And they had a broom and a knife, and they used what they had
All right.
to protect themselves.
And somehow they were able to get the dogs contained in the backyard.
It's an open yard, and they just were able to get the dogs away from them so that they can get back inside.
Okay. All right. And did you have occasion to ever speak with the victim?
No.
Okay. Have you had occasion to view these dogs? Are these dogs still in the custody of animal control?
Yes, they are.
Okay. The white dog was treated for her injuries?
The best that we could not put our hands on either one of them. To this day, we can't.
Okay.
And we were, gave antibiotics or something to
Okay.
the pit bull to try to help her.
All right, all right. But aside from medication, that's been the extent of the treatment, is medication?
That's all we were able to do.
Okay. And you've observed these dogs? All right, and can you
Yes.
describe their demeanor to the board, please?
To this day, if I walk back there to try to just walk past or even talk to them, to anything, the Cane Corso lunges at the door, the cage, and he's taller than me. And the pit bull, she'll sit or she stays back, but she's not as aggressive as the Cane Corso.
All right. And you've had them in your facility for about a month?
Yes.
And none of this has changed?
No.
You're familiar with dogs, I take it?
Yes. And I tried to befriend, and it's.
All right. I was just going to ask that. And you've tried to befriend other
Yes.
dogs that you've had in custody, whether they're strays or taken in by animal control?
No matter what the situation, I always try to see if they change their demeanor or be friendly, or because we deal with rescues, so, you know, those sorts of things. And these two are not friendly.
All right. I don't have any more questions, but Mr. Campbell probably will. Okay, so just.
Thank you. Ms. Serrano, you indicated that when you arrived at the scene of the incident where there's the dog bite, that the Cane Corso Prince, that he was being protective?
Of the white pit bull, yes.
Okay, and the white pit bull had visible injuries to it?
Yes.
Okay, and.
But she was not weak in any way. It
Okay.
wasn't an injury that, it's like just the top layer of the skin, it didn't go all the way in.
Isn't it true that, that animal control had stated that they thought that the white pit bull may have to be put down due to its injuries?
Due to the blood that was coming from her mouth, we didn't know where it was coming from or what was going on, and it seemed like a lot, but then we realized that she was cut in the front,
Okay.
and then it started to slow down. So yes, we were concerned because we could not touch her.
Yeah. So the Cane Corso is being protective of the wounded dog, the pit bull?
My observation was more not a protection because she was hurt, it was more a protection because he knew who she was.
Okay.
He circled her and he stayed with her and he wouldn't let us get near her.
Okay, because that dog had also just witnessed, and obviously rightfully so in my opinion, because, you know, what happened, you know, obviously the situation needed to be addressed. But I mean, but that Cane Corso just saw the dog get stabbed, essentially, and then it was protective of that dog. You would agree with that?
Not in my knowledge of dealing with animals in that extent.
Okay.
It was more of a protection of somebody that I know that two strange dogs don't kind of interact the way that they did in my experience.
Yeah, and I know you've been sitting through here, through the whole hearing, and so, you know, the White Prince is the only dog, the Cane Corso is the only dog that, that my client, Philanthropy White, owns. But, you know, but obviously they'd had prior interactions, so given that, you would agree that, you know, two dogs that are familiar with one another, they could be protective of one another if one's hurt?
Yes, but then if they don't know each other, I've also know that they would have attacked each other versus protect each other.
Okay.
If they're two strange dogs that just met that morning.
So it's not, what you're saying that in it then is that the behavior exhibited by the Cane Corso, the protective nature, is not necessarily outside the realm of normal behavior under the circumstances.
Say it again.
It's not outside the realm of normal behavior under the circumstances.
What do you mean?
What I mean is the protective nature of the dog, having had familiarity with the dog that was wounded, that protective nature is not necessarily something that's outside the realm of normal dog behavior in that circumstance.
I'm still not getting what you're saying.
Okay, let me try to ask it a little bit differently. So you testified that, that the cane corso was protective of the white pit bull, correct? Okay, and the white pit bull was visibly injured.
Right.
Okay, and you stated also that, that you know, you're aware that dogs can be protective of another animal if they're familiar with that.
If they know each other, yes.
Okay, so from that, you would agree that, and we've established that they did at least know each other, at least on one occasion. Okay.
Yeah.
So from that, it's a reasonable conclusion. Would you agree that the cane corso's protective behavior around the pit bull was actually a normal reaction?
A normal reaction for knowing the other dog, yeah.
Okay, because obviously you've interacted with a lot of different dogs, obviously. You said close to probably 200 just that you've had to apprehend from the streets, essentially. Those dogs, you know, would it be easier for you to apprehend the dogs if they knew you and were familiar with you?
Would it be easier? If they knew me.
Of course. But obviously, Prince didn't know you at this point in time, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And so Prince's experience with you, and not saying that you guys did anything wrong, because I don't think you guys did. You guys handled the situation appropriately. But you know, he's getting one dog's his friend, essentially, for lack of a better term, is wounded. People that he doesn't know are they're called a snare, right? They're sticking poles out at them, and you know he doesn't know you, and then they're taken to a place that they don't know. The animal control. To the best of your record, they've never been there before. Okay. And so the only experience that they've ever had, or that Prince has ever had with Hammond Animal Control has been essentially apprehension and in custody, essentially, right?
Right.
Okay. So there hasn't really been an opportunity, and not saying that it really ever presented itself, but there certainly hasn't been an opportunity for like playtime or anything like that with the animals.
Yeah, he goes out into the bigger run and plays.
I mean with staff members.
We interact with them all day, every day.
Okay.
And it's been a month.
Okay.
We're the ones that feed them.
Of course. So with regard to Prince, is it fair to say that he's kept in a cage pretty much all day?
Inside and out, yes.
Inside
He has the run of coming in and out as he pleases.
Okay. Okay. But he hasn't been able to see his owner in over a month. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, Mr. White only came the one time.
Okay. Okay. And he was not allowed to take the dog at all due to the quarantine procedures?
Right.
Okay. No further questions?
I don't have any questions. I'm going to call Deanna Lugo. And can you state your name for the record?
Deanna Lugo?
And you've been previously sworn in?
Yes.
All right. And you work for Hammond Animal Control?
Yes.
How long have you worked for Hammond Animal Control?
30 years.
And did you have occasion to respond to the scene on Walter?
Yes.
All right. And Ms. Serrano testified how you got there?
Yes.
That would be accurate?
Yes.
All right. And what did you see what did you observe when you arrived?
When I first arrived, I seen some people on the side gate, and we asked them what happened and everything like that. Asked where the dogs were. Dogs were all the way somewhere in the back of the yard. Squad cars were blocking the gate because we didn't want the dogs to come out. We went around on the other side of the fence. We tried to snare pole them, pit bull just laid on the ground, but every time we tried to get the pit bull, the cane corso come jumping at the fence trying to attack us. So we could not get him until we had to get tranquilizers to dart him.
All right. And do you know how many darts it took for each dog?
Yes, 1 for the pit bull, 2 for the cane corso.
All right. And do you know how long it took to restrain these dogs?
After the darts finally took effect, probably about 15, 20 minutes.
All right. How how much time did you spend on the scene before the darts took effect? Trying to
I would
snare these dogs?
estimate around an hour.
All right. And were you able to observe the dog's behavior during that hour?
Yes.
And can you just generally describe that?
The Cane Corso was very protective of the white pit bull, like they grew up, knew each other. Every time you touched the fence, the Cane Corso reached over the fence to try to grab you. He was more the aggressor. The female pit bull stayed back a little bit and would lay down. And if you go, like, try to walk over to try to get to her, he would come right back at you, trying to reach over the fence to grab me.
All right. And did you recognize that the white pit bull had some sort of injuries?
Yes.
And did Ms. Serrano accurately describe those injuries?
Yes.
All right. I just remembered, she made some reference to not at the time seeing anything, injuries on the Cane Corso. Did you ever observe any injuries on the Cane Corso?
Yes.
And can you describe what those were?
Had a small little gash on the chest and a small gash on the side of its mouth by its cheek.
Okay, but that wasn't anything that you were able to observe while you were trying to capture this dog?
No, I could not.
All right. You observed those when?
When I have him back in the kennel and I was trying to figure out which was injury and trying to clean him up with some cold water.
All right. And did the dog tolerate that?
No, we did not handle it. We sprayed it with a hose.
Oh, okay. All right. The dog wouldn't, would either of the dogs let you approach?
No.
How long have those dogs been held in animal control?
Since the first day of quarantine, which would have been, I believe, June 22nd.
Okay. And have you had occasion to observe these dogs in that last month?
Yes, I have.
And what have you observed of these dogs?
I observed the dogs being aggressive, especially in protecting each other, jumping on the fence. I tried to give them treats. They will take a treat from me and then turn around and try to bite me again.
Okay, so they will take a treat from your hand?
No, from my finger through the gate.
Okay. All right. So have you been trying to develop some sort of rapport with the dogs?
Yes, I have.
And aside from that, has there been any improvement?
No.
And about, in your 30 years, how many times have you had to snare a dog?
Oh, wow. 2,000-3,000 times.
And how does this experience with these two dogs compare to the, I'm sure you've had all extremes, but how does this, on a scale of 1 to 100, where does this one rank?
This one here would rank probably about 95 because of the conditions of the open big yard, trying to keep the dogs from going out the gate to go after somebody else. They kept going behind the garage, and I could not get in the yard and risk my life because they both tag teamed me. They both worked together to bite.
Okay. All right. And did you have occasion to speak with the victim at some point?
No, I did not speak to the victim until, I believe, probably a week after his incident.
All right. So you talked to him a week after the incident?
Yes.
Was that over the phone or in person?
That was over the phone, and he did come in person.
All right. So were you able to observe his injuries?
Yes, I was.
And can you describe what you saw?
What I saw was the one side of the face was ripped. It looked like it was ripped open, and then down the lip too, and then he had big giant punctures in the leg.
All right. Did he show you those punctures?
He did not show me the punctures on the leg at the time.
All right. So have you ever seen the punctures?
Yes, in a picture.
All right. But you didn't personally see his leg?
Correct.
Okay. What about his face? Did he have it, when you saw him, did he have a big gaping wound on his face?
Yes, he did.
So it hadn't been repaired or stitched at that time?
Not at that time.
All right. It wasn't covered with a bandage?
Yes, it was. He just pulled off the bandage and showed us.
Okay. Pulled down the bandage and showed it to you. Thank you. All right. And have you seen him since then until today?
Today's the first time I've seen him. I've been on vacation.
All right. You talked to the witnesses.
Yes.
What did they describe to you as had happened?
The witnesses, the one gentleman that I talked to described that he heard the guy screaming, and he came out and he seen the dogs on him, and he says that he was swinging a lawnmower or something around, and he fell. And that's when the dogs got him. I didn't get direct response because I feel this is something he should describe
All
to
right,
as a witness.
That's, okay. That's your understanding from the witness of what
Yes.
happened. All right. Okay. And it's your understanding that Hammond Animal Control has ordered that the King Corso be humanely euthanized?
Yes,
And do you agree that that's an appropriate response?
yes, I do.
And what is that based on?
Based on the dog being a large breed, unprovoked attack, the gentleman wasn't doing nothing. These dogs just went in on him and attacked. That's unprovoked. That could have been a child, elderly person, and it would have been even worse.
Okay, and what is your understanding as to why, okay, you heard Mr. White's testimony that somebody named Brittany owned the white dog.
Yes,
Have you had any contact with Brittany?
yes.
All right.
She did come in and said it was her dog. She signed it over because we were not sure of the wounds, because it was bleeding really bad. So she signed it over for the dog to be destroyed. I held on to the dog overnight to be sure. She came in the next day and said it wasn't her dog, and she says she showed somebody else a picture. I was not there at the time. Showed a picture of a different pit bull.
Okay, so we have a couple of things going on here.
Yes.
Number one, the potential owner signed the white pit bull over
Yes.
to Hammond Animal Control.
Yes,
Okay, which means that Hammond Animal Control can make its own determinations.
yes,
Okay, however, she then said that's not her dog.
correct.
Okay, so then basically you have what is now a dog that's been in your custody for 30 days.
Yes,
So this dog is now abandoned.
I assume so.
So this dog is either an abandoned dog or a owner turnover.
Yes.
All right, okay. So that's why we're not here. Well, we don't know if anybody would have protested, but is it your, do you have any idea, does Animal Control have any intention of how do they intend to dispose of this dog? Under either an abandonment or a sign over?
To be euthanized.
All right. Just holding it pending this hearing?
Yes.
I don't have any other questions for you.
Okay.
Okay?
So, you would agree with your coworker's testimony that the cane corso was being protective of the injured pit bull?
I would agree that the dog was being protective as more like the dog knew the dog. They were friends. Not protective because the dog was injured, but because the dogs were together.
Okay. You indicated that the yard was open and big, and that's why it was difficult to apprehend the two dogs?
Yes.
Okay. Had the yard been smaller, would apprehension have been easier?
Yes.
Okay. So some of the difficulty that you described in being able to apprehend the two dogs is really just a matter of the circumstances or the surroundings you had to deal with?
Yes.
Okay. To the best of your knowledge, Prince was never stabbed, correct?
I don't know that. I cannot answer that question.
Okay. How do you feed Prince?
Chase them outside with a hose to go out into the kennel. We have a guillotine door, it shuts, we put the food in, then let them back in.
Okay. So you testified too that he's able to move around somewhat freely inside, outside?
Yes, he does have indoor-outdoor run.
Okay. If he's dangerous, why would he be allowed to have such privileges?
That's all our dogs.
In your experience working with dogs, dogs could be startled, correct?
Not necessarily. You're talking to somebody who has experience with dog training.
Okay. Do you own a dog?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Does your dog like fireworks?
Yes.
Okay. Have you known dogs that don't like fireworks?
Some.
Okay. Have you known dogs that if they hear like a loud boom or a bang or something like that, they go really hyper?
No, I can see them running.
Okay. Have you ever be clear here, the response obviously was appropriate under the circumstances, but could you imagine that, like a lawnmower being slung on a dog, could be a provocation in the dog's mind?
Not necessarily.
Okay. Your understanding is that the attack to the face of Mr. Sepulveda was done by the white pit bull, correct?
I have no knowledge of exactly who did that. I got conflicting stories on one or the other. I assume at the time I read this thing, it was both of them.
Okay. Did you have an opportunity to review the police report that was written in this case?
Did I happen to review it?
Yes.
Yes, I did.
Okay, in the police report, it states that the Cane Corso Prince may have been the one that bit Ms. Sepulveda on the leg, correct?
That's what it says, yes.
Okay, and then it says that the white pit bull is the one that attacked his face.
That's what the police report says.
Okay, do you have any reason to dispute the accuracy of the police report?
Considering that the officer went and talked to a gentleman that has just been traumatized in a hospital,
Okay,
yeah.
but you're speculating on that, correct?
Yes, I am. I can't guarantee anything on that.
Okay, no further questions.
I just have one question. It's about the dog's in and out privileges. Okay, even though you consider Prince a dangerous dog, how do you make sure that he's contained?
He's contained in a 6-foot fenced kennel with a roof on top and fencing on top. We have guillotine doors where the dogs can go in and out, all dogs, because we don't like to leave a dog locked in the cage. When we need to feed him, we let the dog out when we're cleaning. When he comes back in, his food and water is already set there, and the gate is open so he can go in and to use the bathroom outside so he doesn't have to use the bathroom inside and step in it.
And the dog can do some limited amount of exercise
Yes.
running around? Okay. And the fence outside animal control, or the enclosure outside of animal control is contained, the dog can't get out of there?
True.
So there's just no threat to the public by letting him out to do his business when he's at animal control?
None whatsoever.
No further questions. Thank you. All right, I'm just going to call Ms. Bunner to go over a little bit of paperwork. Can you state your name, please?
Melanie Bonner?
And you've been previously sworn?
Yes, ma'am.
And you work for Hammond Animal Control?
Yes.
How long?
7 years yesterday.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And what are your job responsibilities?
Same as Lisa Serrano's. I'm a kennel master, so we're responsible for all the duties, taking care of the animals and the shelter, as well as going out on calls whenever it's needed.
All right, and were you on this call?
I actually was not supposed to be because it was my day off, but they needed some additional help, so I came over when they called me.
All right, so you ended up responding to the scene as well?
I did.
And did you participate in capturing these dogs?
I did.
And what was your role?
Well, at that point, they had been sedated for quite some time. They weren't, of course, completely down or anything. They still had a little fight in them. But Lisa was able to snare the Cane Corso, and I snared the white pit bull and proceeded to the truck.
All right. And as kennel master, did you sign and issue a letter to Mr. White and Ms. Brittany Williams regarding the dogs?
I did.
And is this a copy of that letter?
It is, in fact.
And there's a handwritten notation on there that it was delivered, and this was sent certified mail?
There was.
And that was per city ordinance?
Yes.
And this declares the dog's dangerous?
Correct.
And indicates what is animal control looking for?
We're asking for humane euthanasia of both animals.
All right. And this indicates it was hand-delivered to Attorney Campbell?
Correct.
All right. And did you give this to Mr. Campbell?
I did.
All right. And you recognize him as the gentleman who's here?
Yes.
Okay. And if I can, you've seen this? I just have one copy of this. I just pulled this out of my file. I'm sorry. And that would represent the letter indicating notice to Mr. White and Ms. Williams of animal control's intentions, correct?
Correct.
And I understand that, Ms. Lugo testified that Ms. Williams first indicated that she was the owner of the pit bull,
She did.
and then she returned and took that back?
She had saw the video that was posted on Facebook of the dogs and then came in and presented us with a photo inside of her phone of a white pit bull wasn't the same as the one that we had, so indicating that that white pit bull isn't hers.
All right, so basically she took it back the next
Yes.
day. All right. So as far as animal control knows, officially, you don't know nobody has claimed ownership of this dog.
We cannot prove any ownership.
All right, okay. And do you have occasion to interact with the dogs on a regular basis?
Every day.
All right, and you've heard testimony from Ms. Lugo and Ms. Serrano about the dog's disposition?
Correct.
Do you have any different feeling about these dogs?
No, it's definitely the same. I mean, we've had them for a month. They should be our friends by now. And that's just not what's happening. And then additionally, I have a lot of rescues that come in, to view our dogs and try and see what to pull, and these dogs just go nuts.
So they're not responsive to other visitors?
They're responsive, but not in a positive way.
They're not positively responsive?
Correct.
Okay, all right. And with respect to the pit bull, your intention would be to proceed to euthanize the animal who's not a subject of this hearing, either as an unowned dog or a surrendered dog?
Correct.
Been in the custody of animal control for over a month now?
31 days.
All right, and that's well beyond, Hammond ordinance allows
3 business days.
3 business days, all right. I don't have any other questions.
Very briefly, you indicated that you would agree that the 2 dogs appear to be more like pack animals in the sense that they seem to know one another?
They definitely seem to know it. They
Okay.
still do.
Okay, and they're protective of one another?
More so the cane corso is a protector.
So if the white pit bull were to be removed from the equation, we don't really know exactly how the cane corso would adapt. I mean, he could become, in theory, friendlier as opposed to...
I wouldn't guess any of that. I'm not gonna.
All right, so it seems like together, they may be trouble, perhaps. You guys have a difficult time together. Do you agree with that?
I'm not gonna agree with a what if scenario.
That's not a what if. Together, when the 2 dogs are together, you guys seem to have a difficult time with the 2 dogs, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So if one dog, the white pit bull, who is...
You're presenting me with an if question. I cannot answer an if question.
Okay. So what I'm going to ask you is, the white dog will, in all likelihood, be put to sleep, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So the white dog will no longer be around the game corso, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So we don't know yet, of course, whether or not the cane corso's alleged aggressive tendencies are just purely related to it being physically protective of the physical presence of the white pit bull.
No clue.
We don't know.
No.
So there's a chance that this cane corso could actually be a very good dog as long as it's not guarding and protecting the white pit bull.
You want my opinion? Is that what you're asking?
I'm saying there's a chance that he could be. We just don't know.
Again, an if question.
Well, we don't know, correct?
You're willing to take that chance? I'm not.
Well, what we're asking is we don't know.
Right, we don't know.
Okay.
All we know is the facts that are presented in front of us and the injuries that this man that I saw and the way that these animals act. That's all I can be witness
Again,
to.
the way they act when they're together.
They're in separate cages.
Okay. So again, we just don't know how the cane corso prince would react if he didn't have the white pit bull. We don't know.
Don't know.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I'm going to call the witness, De La Cruz. Come on up here. How are you?
Good, how about you?
Good. Can you state your name, please?
Antonio De La Cruz.
All right. And where do you live?
5635 Walter Avenue, Hammond, Indiana.
So are you a resident at the location where this incident occurred?
Yes,
Okay. And do you know Mr. Sepulveda?
yes,
And how do you know Mr. Sepulveda?
that's my uncle.
He's your uncle?
Mhm.
All right. And was he allowed to be on your property?
Yes, he was.
On June 22nd?
Yes,
And what was he doing there?
He was coming to mow my lawn.
All right. And is this something that Mr. Sepulveda does on a regular basis?
Yes.
Okay. And drawing your attention to about 6:30, 6:45 in the morning of June 22nd, did you have occasion to hear something going on outside of your house?
Yes, he had called me to let me know that he was outside to cut my grass. And he was like, whose dog that is? He thought those were my dogs, which they wasn't. And he was out there trying to, like I heard the dog barking through the telephone. So my roommate stayed upstairs for me, and she was upstairs looking out the window watching everything happen.
Okay, so Mr. Sepulveda called you from outside and said, whose are these dogs?
Exactly.
Okay.
So I had went out there to see, and when I opened the door, the white pit bull charged my door, like, cause I screamed because they were around him, and I screamed to like distract the dog, and they're already like ready to attack him, circling around him. So
Okay, so you saw the dog
so when I
circling
screamed at
your
one of the
uncle.
dogs, it came towards my door, and I slammed the door. So I knew that it was serious already. So I went to grab the broom, and thank God that I went in as fast as I did to go out there. He already had fell from and what it wasn't the white pit bull that bit him in the face. It was the King Corso that bit him in the face.
Did you observe this?
Yes, because when I walked outside, that's the white pit bull bit him on the side. That's what got him to swing the lawnmower to fall. When he had fell, the King Corso charged him in his face. I hit him with the broom. When I hit the dog with the broom, thank God that he let go, because them dogs were barking so like, I never heard a dog bark evil, like it was scary to me.
Okay, so you hit the dog, which dog?
The King
You
Corso.
hit the King Corso with the broom,
Mm-hmm.
and the King Corso released your uncle then?
Yeah, he released, he let go, and then they both charged at me.
They both came at you?
So when they came at me, I just swung the broomstick at them, and they like went around till I ran to the stairs, and then that's when I got up there. So they had like went around the car in my driveway, not inside my yard, which is fenced right there. And the dog had, so I went to go open the gate for my uncle to come through, and the white dog came at me again. So that's when the broomstick was broken. So I just swung it at it, like just kept hitting it because it was charging at me. That's how he got the slice on the chest or whatever I hit it at. I just was defending myself because I was so scared. And that's when I got able to leave, and the dog went all the way in the back of my.
All right, and did you contain the dogs in the back of the house, or
Did I see them?
did you contain them? Did you keep them?
No, I didn't contain them. They went back
They
there.
just went back there,
Yeah,
and
they
they
just
stayed?
Yeah, they stood back there.
Okay,
They didn't have. It wasn't no release for them to go out anyways.
all right. Okay, and did you see your uncle's injuries?
Yes, I did.
And where was he injured?
He was injured, and his lip split down, and then his cheek would. You could lift it up like that. It was bad. And he was such in shock. So like I'm guessing when he made that police report, he didn't even.
Okay, all right,
He wouldn't know.
all right. Okay, so that's what you saw.
Yep, and my roommate made a statement, and she was watching it. She's the one that made the 911 call.
She called 911?
Yes, and she's the one that told the people everything also.
All right, and as far as you know, the dogs stayed back in the backyard,
Yes.
blocked in somehow, until
Thank-
animal control was able to release them,
Yes, ma'am.
contain them. All right. I don't have any other questions.
Mr. Campbell? No? Thank you.
All right, we'll call the last witness, that being Mr. Sepulveda, who we've heard so much about today. I'll just tender some photographs of Mr. Sepulveda. I have a copy of
Welcome to the
everybody,
board,
but
man.
I don't know that you all.
Oh, we do.
We did.
Okay. All right, can you state your name, please?
Juan A. Sepulveda.
All right, and you've heard a lot of talk here about what happened on Walter on June 22nd. You were the victim in that case?
Yeah, my cheek here.
Yes. Okay. And we'll show it. We're going to take your mask off right now, okay? And you were there to mow the grass?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And-
ask me.
Okay. And to the best of your ability, can you please explain what happened?
Well, I pulled up, I kind of blocked his driveway. I remember because a police officer asked me why my car was blocking his driveway. I opened my trunk, I seen the dogs, I called him, I told him whose dogs were they, he's like, you don't know, maybe they'll go away. I took the lawnmower out, I put it down, I started it. Now, the big brown one came first, and then the white one came. So as they came, I figured maybe, okay, the noise might have set them off. So I turned the lawnmower off immediately. So they were attacking the lawnmower. They were just going at it, going at it, going at it. So now, mind you, I'm here, my car's here, my trunk is open. So I'm going backwards to jump in my trunk. I want to get in my trunk before I get bit. The white dog, I don't know what happened to her, she leaves. So I'm walking back, then I get bit. So then I fall.
Where did you get bit?
I got bit here in the leg here.
Okay.
I fall, I don't know why I still got the lawnmower, but I'm still gripping onto the lawnmower. I fell, and that's when the brown dog got me in my face. And pretty much that's what I remember. That I think I remember running in, putting a rag on my face, and that's when the police officer asked me, can I move the car? Mind you, I'm bleeding, and I had to move my car out the way.
All right, and these photographs, they show your injuries,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Okay. All right, and can you describe what kind of treatment that you had to have for your injuries?
Well, they shot me up, I think, with 4 things of morphine. After they did that, they left me there. I got there, I don't know, maybe right before 7, 6:50, 6:40 something. They left me like that to 3:30. I didn't get stitched up to 3:30. So she shot me up 4 times with morphine. Then they I guess they were lifting up my skin to put this saline solution or something like that on me. They did that. They cleaned it all up. A doctor came in. She said, you know what, I can't do that. I can't. You're too bad. So I waited another hour. A plastic surgeon came down, and they had to have a plastic surgeon do this because it was too bad for a regular doctor to do it.
Okay, so we don't have your medical records, but, and I don't know if you've ever even seen them, but to your knowledge, how many stitches do you got your face stitched?
Yeah, she said I had over 100.
Over 100 stitches? Okay, are the stitches still in your face, or have they been?
I have disposable, so there might be a couple, like down here. They're white, so they're kind of hard to see. But
Okay.
you might see one right here. There's a couple down here, maybe one up here, one up here. There's none on my lip anymore. These on my leg weren't disposable. I guess they gave me so much, I don't know what it's called, Novocaine, I don't know what it's called, to numb my face, that they couldn't give me no more on my leg. She said if they gave me more, that I would die. So she couldn't give me no more numbing agent on my leg because I had too much already on my face and too much in my IV.
All right, so let me talk really quickly about your leg, which we're not gonna be able to see here. But how many stitches, if any, do you have in your leg?
I had 6 in my leg.
6
I
in
had
your
6
leg.
in my leg and 1 puncture wound.
And 1 puncture wound. Okay, is the puncture wound healed, do you know?
Well, I got a scab.
You got a scab
Yeah, I
still?
got a scab,
Okay.
yeah. I got a scab
All right.
on both, yeah.
All right, and are the stitches
Yeah,
all
the
out of
stitches
your
are
leg?
out, yeah, they're scabbed
Okay.
now, yeah.
All right, and is there a scar? Is there still a line where the stitches were?
Oh, yeah, there's still a line, and there's, you can probably feel it through my jeans if you like. It's my leg and my face, it's hard.
Okay, I'm
It
not
feels
gonna,
like-
I'm
it
not gonna
feels
touch
like-
your leg,
It
but I'm
feels
gonna.
like this.
Okay.
That's how my face feels, it feels like this.
Yeah.
It don't feel
feels
like a regular
hard.
cheek.
Doesn't
It
feel
feels hard.
soft like.
No, it feels like a
right.
callus.
I'm gonna ask you to take your mask off and turn your side towards the board so that they can see your facial injury. I'm gonna be respectful of social distancing. Gentlemen, if you want him to approach, we can do that, but I don't know how visible it is. Come there.
Kristen, can he turn towards the camera?
Sure, you want to turn towards the camera? Camera's right there. Mr. Jacobs, are you getting that? All right. Mr. Campbell? Okay. All right.
Doctor also said that just 2 inches away, less than 2 inches away, if he would have got me, he would have got my jugular, and I could have bled to death. And had it been an infant or a woman, that that dog could have killed it. So if I took this for a little girl or a little kid or a woman, then I'll take it for something like that, because it could have been worse. It could have been a little kid. It could have been one of our kids, one of your kids, that I took this for.
All right. Okay, thank you. Just wait. Mr.
Oh,
Campbell's
okay.
going to have some questions for you.
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry for what happened to you.
Okay. Oh, sorry.
No, I know my client is,
I'm sure, yeah, I'm sure.
what happened to you should not have happened to anybody. It was truly an act of negligence. I'm sorry. I know that,
Mr. Campbell?
yeah, I'm sorry.
There you go, just a little bit, thank you.
Sure. Okay. So you were at your nephew's house, help mow the lawn, correct? Okay. You testified that you started the lawnmower, and that's when you saw the two dogs?
Barney at me.
Okay. And when you started the lawnmower, you thought that maybe that agitated the dogs?
Well, I figured, yeah, turn it off, maybe they'll leave me alone, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't know what to think, right.
Okay. So you then turn off the lawnmower, correct? Okay. And the dogs begin to essentially kind of attack the lawnmower, correct?
Yeah, they're attacking the lawnmower, right. They were attacking the lawnmower because I was using it, so they won't come to me. And it says on the police report that I was swinging it around. Now, I don't know who here could pick up an engine lawnmower by 2 hands. That's impossible. So I did not use the lawnmower as a rag doll to swing it around. No, I did not.
So it's safe to say that the lawnmower was an item of interest to these two dogs?
Well, it was safe to say that dogs attacked me. For what reason, I have no idea. I can't say that was the reason why.
Okay. The two dogs, but they went after the lawnmower. After you started it and then stopped it, then they went after the lawnmower.
Okay, I stopped it, they went after the lawnmower,
Okay.
right. But then they came after me.
Okay, and I'm certainly, and I'm gonna get to that.
Okay.
Sorry that happened. But at least initially, it seemed like they were responding to the lawnmower. Would you agree with that?
Well, I'll tell you what, they came to me. They came to me. I had the lawnmower, they came to me. As soon as they were coming, I shut the lawnmower off. Before they got to the lawnmower was off. So, the lawnmower was not running when they were like not even where this gentleman's at. I seen them coming, I shut it off. So, I don't know if they were coming towards the lawnmower, because it was on while they were way in the backyard. It's a big house. It's an open yard. There's no fence. They can leave wherever they like. Why they came to me, I could not say. It was a lawnmower because the lawnmower was off 10 feet before they got to me. Well, I can't say that. I don't know exactly.
So the lawnmower is what attracted them to your vicinity?
The lawnmower, I tell you what, they heard the lawnmower is the reason why they came to me.
Okay.
That I can say.
Okay. So then you do what I think most people would do, that you turn the lawnmower off.
Right.
Okay. And then at that point, they begin to bite at the lawnmower itself.
Because I'm using the lawnmower as a defense, yeah.
Okay. But
They weren't attacking the lawnmower because it was on. They were attacking the lawnmower because I didn't want them to come at me. So I'm like, get away, get away. So they're attacking the lawnmower, yeah.
Okay, so you were saying, get away, get away. Again, I think that's a perfectly normal response.
Right.
That's what I probably would have done too, honestly.
I hope so.
Yeah. So you're saying, get away, get away. You're kind of thrusting the lawnmower at them a little bit to kind of shoo them off it and away from you?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. And then at that point in time, you had previously told the officer who took your report that that Prince had bit you in the leg?
Yeah, when I got bit, I was in shock. I thought the brown dog bit me and the white dog bit me, but no, that wasn't what happened. That's not what the witnesses saw. And now that I remember, no, the brown dog bit me because the white dog was gone. The brown dog was the one who was more, how can I say it, was more interested in what was going on. He was interested in why I was there, what I was doing, and the white dog just, there's something like they cahooted. The white dog went away. Mind you, my car was here, my truck was open. I was trying to get to my trunk. The white dog went around my car. I wasn't paying attention. I thought the white dog left. So I was like, okay, well, I just got to deal with this one. I'm like, okay, well, just go away. Get out of here. That's what I was saying. And then by the time I'm right here, my trunk's right here. I'm about to hop in, and that's when he got me in my leg. And then I fell.
That was the brown dog, correct?
The white dog bit me in the leg, like I said already.
All right. In the police report, you gave that statement right after you were taken to the hospital, correct?
Right.
Okay. So there was still, that was still pressure in your mind when how everything occurred. It's before you talked to anybody else or anything else. That's your recollection of what actually transpired.
No, I didn't talk to the police first. I talked to my nephew. I talked to my niece because she was inside.
Okay.
I talked to the neighbor who was upstairs. And, yeah, mind you, I'm in shock. My cheek is missing. I'm bleeding. I have to move my car because the police said move my car. So that was all going through my mind, yeah. That's everything was going through my mind, yeah.
And when you told law enforcement, the officer for the report, you said that it was the brown dog, Prince, that had bit you in the leg, correct?
That's what I had thought, yeah.
Okay. And then you stated that it was the white dog that attacked your face.
Right.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And you're only saying that it's different now because you're hearing other people say.
No, it's not difficult. I'm hearing both people say it. I'm not because I'm not scared. I'm not fearing for my life. I'm calm, and I'm here now, and this is what happened. That's why I'm saying. And I see you trying to turn my words around, but that's not going to work. His dog bit me in my face. The white dog bit me in my leg, and that's what happened.
Okay.
That's exactly what happened. I have witnesses. We were all there. So however you want to put it, be more, feel free to write how you want to write it, but that's exactly what happened.
Okay. So initially, after everything occurred, you did talk to the police.
I talked to the police. Mind you, I'm under the influence of morphine.
Yeah.
4 things of morphine. I'm talking to the police. So I'm under the influence. I have no responsibility to myself being under a narcotic. So what I'm saying is I can't go to trial being under a narcotic and give my testimony because I'm under narcotics. So that's when I was talking to the police, I was under narcotics. So again, I said what I said, but that's not what happened. The white dog did disappear. I remember it did disappear because I thought it left. And the brown dog, of course, the brown dog was bigger, and that was a more scarier dog. The white one, it's a small little dog. It's stocky, but it's small. And this one was more interested in me. Okay. So that's why I was more like, shoot, go away, shoot.
So you're saying that then you recall differently what actually happened, and now you're saying that this is what actually happened. It was Prince that attacked your face, not the.
Well, I don't know who Prince is, but the brown dog bit me.
Okay.
Yeah.
The brown dog. Did you make a follow-up statement with the police at all to correct that information?
No, I didn't see the police at all. No, I got a hold of my attorney, and I was just told not to speak to anybody.
Okay. And without going into attorney-client privilege information, I assume that you substantively you told them what you recall as what transpired, correct?
I told who? My lawyer?
I'm sure that you discussed the situation and what had occurred with them.
Yeah, I told.
Okay. And to the best of your knowledge, did your attorneys reach out to law enforcement to make a supplemental police report to
Are you asking me if my attorney talked to the police?
If you're aware.
How would I be aware if my attorney talked to the police?
Okay. Well, that's my
Do
point.
you know if I talked to the police?
Well, I do actually, because you had made a police report.
Do you know if I talked to the police yesterday?
Oh, did you? I don't
No,
know.
I'm asking,
That's why I'm
do you
asking.
know? Okay, no, you don't. I don't know.
If I could please instruct the witness to.
I mean, I don't,
answer questions
I
directly.
don't, sir, I don't know if anybody talked to anybody at all after I got bit.
And that was the answer to my question.
Okay, that's it. I mean, that's kind of a way out question to ask me. I got bit in my face. I could have died. I got kids that were crying. You know, this is not a joke to me.
And I don't.
And it's not to where like, are you sure your lawyer didn't talk? You know, that's not funny. I mean, you're making it seem like I'm here, you know, like it's a joke. I'm sorry to tell you, I could have died. And like I said, no, I have family. I'm sorry that your dog might have to be euthanized. I do apologize. I really do. But you know what? Like I said, this could have been the kid.
Mr. Sepulveda.
Mr. Sepulveda, it's okay. You just answer the questions, okay? I think he's almost done.
Okay. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Anything further?
Yeah, and, you know, I understand, and I'm sorry, like, this never should have happened. Simply put, I think everybody in this room who's heard it can all agree this never should have happened.
Right.
You shouldn't have had to even been in a position where, you know, you had to use a lawnmower to attempt.
Well, I just think the dog should have been, you know, if the dog's under your care, it should be under your care. Whether it's a Chihuahua, whether it's a ferret, a bird, take care of your animal. They're your animals. Take care of them.
Let me ask you this. So you would agree that for an animal, certainly you'd want to have a fenced-in yard that's secure, correct?
Mm.
Okay. And you would agree that, you know, obviously the animal should be kept under close supervision.
Mhm.
Would you also agree that, that as far as with, well, do you own any animals? I guess I never asked that.
Do I own an animal? No, I don't own an animal, no. My kids do.
Okay. So obviously, if it's appropriate, the dog could be out on a leash, but if not, you know, the dog should be kept in the home. You'd agree with that, right?
Right.
Okay. Would you agree that there's a distinction between knowing and letting a dog out to roam free without any supervision and the accidentally having left the gate open? Like, there's a difference between like opening your door, right, and saying, hey, get out of here, as opposed to the dog escaping.
Right. No, I believe there's, I mean, I got bit by accident. I didn't get bit by purpose. So the dog escaped accidentally. Yeah, he could have accidentally escaped. Yes, he could have. Having that size dog, I just think maybe if he's gonna let him out, maybe he should have a lock on that little door that he could open. He should have a lock on that door, because I think Hammond law requires a 6-foot fence and $1 million home insurance for those kind of dogs, if I'm not mistaken. I might be wrong.
No, you're right.
Okay.
If there's that determination of dangerous.
Right, I think the gates should be securely fastened. If you're gonna let them out, use 15 minutes, use the bathroom. Because this took, I don't know, 3 minutes to bite my face off. So, you know what I mean? I think all the fences should be securely locked. If he's gonna let his dog go out and do their business for 5 minutes and come back inside, I just think it should be locked, because this would be a murder trial right now if it wasn't for me.
So, do you have a fence at your home?
No, I don't have a fence in my house, no.
All right. You have kids, right?
I have kids.
Yeah. Have they ever did something and you're like, hey, I told you to do this, and they forgot to do it?
Yes.
Okay. Well, it happens all the time, right?
All the time, my
Dog does it
kids,
all the
yeah.
time. So, obviously, my client is responsible, you know, for keeping his dog contained
Mhm.
and in a secured area, which
Mhm.
his backyard does have a 6-foot fence.
Right.
It is a secure area. He doesn't.
Right.
Now, if someone else left the gate open unbeknownst to him, like, in that situation, I guess the better practice moving forward would simply be to double check every single time, right?
Right, but had this been a kid that was dead, it'd be something different to just my face being bit off. So I think that dog should be put up, like I said, because this could have been a little kid dead right now. And then now what are you gonna tell the parents? Oh, moving further on, we'll lock the door. Don't worry, sorry about little Timothy, but we'll lock the gate next time.
So, I mean, so what this really comes down to is there's an act of negligence by this other person.
There's an act of negligence by the owner of the dog, not the other person, not the other person. You cannot blame the second, he's not the owner, he's the owner. You can't blame someone else for your mistakes you made. You cannot blame your partner, or you can't blame.
But to be fair, you didn't know that the gate was open.
He should have double checked. With those kind of dogs, he should have checked.
Okay.
Those are dogs you got to, it took, like I said, it took 2-3 seconds to bite my face off. You should just double check. I think you should double check. On those kind of animals, on any kind of wild animals, anything wild, I think you should double check your surroundings when you have those kind of dogs. You are saying you are responsible to have those dogs, but your negligence to double check, then you're not responsible to have that kind of dog. Or horse or wolf or whatever, mind you, snake or whatever it could be. You know what I mean? These things you got to be 100% liable all the time because accidents happen.
Mr. Campbell, got, you got some more follow-up?
No, I don't, no.
I'm sorry to take up all
No,
your
no,
time.
you guys are trying to make a determination on what the outcome of Prince, and obviously the board's the ones that are gonna make that determination.
Yeah, I was just trying to, speak frankly to the board.
I'm
Just trying
sorry.
to see
Well, I understand.
what Mr. Sepulveda's position was on everything.
Understood.
And so, because I think that that's important to know. All right, well, thank you very much, and I am sorry.
I appreciate it. I was thinking have a weekend.
I understand.
Thank you.
I have no other
myself?
witnesses. I'm done.
Mr. Campbell? Or you guys want any kind of short closing statement, if you will? Well, I'm suggesting short, but I'm
Yeah,
going to
no,
listen to whatever
we're
you
getting
have.
into the lunch hour too. No, I appreciate your guys' patience and.
I'm sorry to cut you
I'm
off.
sorry.
There you go.
I appreciate your guys' patience and in hearing everything. What we do know is that through an act of arguable negligence that is not immediately attributable to my client, the a gate to the fence was left open, and that is how Prince got out. Prince never should have gotten out. I know I have a fenced-in yard at my house, and I have 2 different gates, and I'm sure if any of you or you know people who have a fenced-in yard and you have an animal, you open the door to let them go to the bathroom, it's a fenced-in yard, you presume it's shut, because last time you left, you had shut it, so you assume that everything's shut, that there wouldn't be any issues. What happened never should have happened. We can all agree with that. It's horrible what happened. But at the same time, my client was taking the precautions necessary with regard to Prince. He never let him out, without a leash or anything like that, except into a fenced-in enclosed backyard. And Prince is still a puppy. He's 1 year old still. He had an unfortunate incident with his leg that did not allow him to get the proper training that he should have gotten at an earlier age. So my client reached out and tried to get in-home training for him as well as training for himself. He has no prior history of violence or aggression or anything like that. He has the opportunity to get good training. The canine trainer in South Holland, he's worked with Prince's family line. With his father, and I believe even his grandfather as well. This gentleman has experience in training, and he can help ensure that Prince is a good dog. We submit that this is entirely out of character, and we also would submit that the issue, as you heard, was these 2 animals being together. Now, the white dog is in all likelihood going to be euthanized, I presume. But what we don't know is how Prince is without, that pack mentality. When he can just focus on himself and not worry about trying to protect another animal or anything like that. Prince is my client's only dog. And, Prince is there are no children in the home. Everybody's grown up, basically. And, it's a fenced-in secure yard. He's taken every step that you could ask him to as far as, to make sure that this never happens again. Because unfortunately, we can't go back and we can't change the past, but we can take proactive steps to ensure the future. And the proactive steps to ensure the future are all the steps that my client's taken. And certainly any additional requests that, or recommendations or obligations even for that matter, that the board would deem appropriate, my client would absolutely be more than amenable to. I actually would like to add one. I think he absolutely should have to get a locking gate so that an actual like a lock, like a padlock on the gate. I think that would be of absolute benefit, because then, you know, in no circumstance should the dog ever be allowed out, because the rule would always be you lock the gate. You know, it would never be left open. You put a padlock on the gate. He loves Prince. He was there for Prince when Prince was wounded, hurt. He fed him, took him to the hospital. Like, this is someone who spent a lot of money to help make sure that his dog received good medical care and treatment after the leg injury, because he loves his dog. He certainly did not want this to happen, and he never wants it to ever happen again. Allow him, please, to make the additional steps that are necessary, even if after a finding that Prince is a dangerous dog, that he be allowed to take the appropriate steps to ensure that this never, ever happens again, and to help prove that Prince can be a good dog. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Campbell. Ms. Hill?
Yes, very briefly. The issue before this board is whether to uphold animal control's determination, first being that the dog is a dangerous dog. I've provided the board with the definition of a dangerous animal, which is an animal meeting any one of the following criteria. The one that applies here that we've proven is any animal which bites, inflicts injury on, kills, or otherwise attacks a human being or domestic animal without provocation on any public or private property. It's clear there's been an injury to a human being on property, private in this case. The only real issue is whether there's provocation, whether the attack was without provocation. It's evident that this was an unprovoked attack. The fact that the dog doesn't like the sound of a lawnmower, to suggest that the noise was the provocation for a dog to attack a human being, I'm sorry, is stretching the limits of believability here. This was an unprovoked attack on a man who was doing nothing more than helping out family members by mowing grass. It's been mentioned here several times, what if this had been somebody else? Thankfully, it was a full-grown, healthy-looking man who was able to take the brunt of it, who was able to take this attack, as opposed to being an elderly person or a child. We don't even know how long these dogs were on the streets of Hammond. They were let out sometime Prince was let out sometime in the darkness of the morning. This was June. This was a day or two after the summer solstice, the longest day of the year. It gets light out pretty early in the morning, and this attack didn't happen until 6:30, 6:45, somewhere in there. These dogs were on the streets of Hammond. They moved across Calumet Avenue, approximately 7 blocks from home base to where this attack occurred. Thankfully, they didn't encounter anybody else in that before they encountered Mr. Sepulveda. There's no question that these dogs are dangerous, and specifically the one here, Prince. Mr. White has taken precautions now, but what did he have before? Nothing. An insecure offense, the gate was left open on. Dog escaped. It's an accident. Maybe negligence, maybe. The dog got out. 112-pound, 21-month-old dog, Cane Corso. Big dog, powerful dog. It's been acknowledged by Mr. White. And a pit bull. Smaller. Apparently these are aggressive dogs. They attacked a man unprovoked. The board's The board should uphold animal control's finding. I don't like standing here and saying, gentlemen, this dog should be euthanized. It would pain me if my dogs were in this position. It would gut me. I would do everything I could to make you decide otherwise, but my obligation to the city of Hammond and to the citizens of the city of Hammond is to tell you this dog is a dangerous dog. The animal control findings should be upheld, and animal control should be allowed to proceed with their proposed destruction of the dog. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hill.
You can say it.
I know it's a little more informal than, court proceedings, but, my client had his dog in an enclosed backyard, 6-foot fence. He doesn't let it out without a leash, except to go to the bathroom outside. He took what you would think, you can always, Monday morning quarterback and say, well, after the fact, well, we could have done this, we could have done this, we could have done this. The Prince has never showed any aggression or violence at all prior to this instance. And on top of that, he was kept in an enclosed backyard that even with a finding of a dangerous animal, Prince, a 6-foot fence, and he was in that. The fact that the only reason this happened is because somebody, without my client's knowledge, did not properly shut the gate. Certainly, hindsight's 20/20. You could say, well, he should have gone out and checked the gate to make sure that it was shut before he let his dog out. But when the last time the gate was open, he shuts his gate, he lets the dog out, and it goes to the bathroom, it runs around in the backyard, and it comes back in. That's the setup of the home, and that's normal. That's what you would expect, especially for an animal that's never had a history of violence or aggression. Just because he's a bigger dog, it doesn't mean that that there should be a presumption of dangerousness. Certainly, a bigger dog can be, can hurt somebody, but just the same as a smaller dog. But there are big dogs, and I'm sure you all know that they're good dogs. And just because he's a big guy doesn't mean that he should be condemned. My client did everything he could in that circumstance. He let his dog out, and he thought everything was shut because he had no reason to think it wasn't. And unfortunately, a girl that he was seeing, she had left the gate open, but he didn't know that. This never would have happened had the gate been shut. And so what we're asking is that Prince be given one final chance, just one. We'll meet every statutory requirement or ordinance requirement. He already has. He's taken all the steps that he needs to, and proof can be submitted, within as much time as the board would deem appropriate. That he's enrolled in the classes appropriately, that that the signs are up, photographs of the signs. The policy has been purchased, just to guard against this. But please give my client's dog one more chance. Thank you.
He has counsel. I don't know that his counsel.
If the board is willing to let him speak, the way I do it, it's his dog, and it's his puppy. So if the board is willing to entertain something,
If it's brief, sir.
All right, in conclusion, again, I'm sorry, Mr. Sepova, for this incident happening. I can assure you that this incident will not happen again. The coverage on my animal is in place, the fence is in place. In hindsight, yes, I guess I should have stepped outside to make sure the gate was locked. She's never made that mistake before, so I guess out of the nature of habit, I just allowed it to happen. I'm just kind of stuck in this position because I wish that, I'm hearing a lot of testimony about my dog, and what I heard before it was a lot more about the white dog, that until now that they have no one for the white dog. And now the concern is my dog, my dog, my dog. The white dog was stabbed. I wonder why Prince wasn't stabbed. He's been protecting this white dog. Why isn't he stabbed? Why is she stabbed? Mr. Sepulveda also said that the white dog left, but now he tells us that the white dog bit him in the leg. Police report says that Prince bit him in the leg. It's a lot of changes in these statements, and I really feel like this is being channeled to my dog because all he have is him now, and all he have is me. Really believe that if it was the other way around, you would be hearing the same thing about the white dog, and the brown dog would have been the one that left and didn't do anything. Don't want to take anything from the incident. There's a lot of contradiction in these stories. I'm sure you see it on the police report. I heard it here. You heard it here. And I just really would like for Prince to have a chance at living. He's 1 year old. I hear I would try to use the 21 months to take away the 1. He's 1 year old. He hasn't had time to even understand anything. The aggression from the lawnmower, like I stated, I didn't know anything about a lawnmower. I named a few things that I know agitates him: vacuum cleaners, fireworks, lawnmower. I find now that he's cutting grass when that happened. We hear that he's attacking the lawnmower. He takes cuts the lawnmower off, and he's agitating the dog with the lawnmower to get the dog away. That does nothing but provoke a dog more. I understand he's trying to protect himself, but let's think of, in the sense of an animal, what that animal feels. He doesn't know what Mr. Sepulveda is saying. And so, I just really would like to see, and I wish that you all could see, because what I'm hearing, I didn't know I could bring witnesses to witness and testify the behavior of my dog. I wish that it was any way that you all could go up there, because everything I'm hearing, I'm sure you will see, is not the case. I don't know if that's admissible, if that's something you all can do, but if you could, I really would like for you to go up there and see this dog. And I assure you that what's being said, he's barking and they can't feed him, and if that's the case, then how is he being boarded? It's impossible. Sibley Animal Hospital would not allow me to board that animal continuously if they have to spray him with water to get outside. And come on, he's 1. I've done the necessary things to make sure that this won't happen again. Please give him a chance. He deserves it. We've all made accidents. We've all had accidents. I'm sure someone has left the door open before or done things, left your door unlocked in the car. Accidents happen. That's why we come up with the word accident. Coincidences happen. I don't feel that he should die because of the negligence of someone else. It won't happen again, I can assure you that much. I appreciate your time. I appreciate you listening to me now, and Hammond, council. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Hill, Mr. Campbell, when the board reaches a decision, you guys will be notified of the findings. Okay.
I just want to state that in the event that the board does uphold animal control's decision and the dog is to be put down, the requirement by ordinance is that the dog be held for 7 days after hearing. I'm going to represent to the board and Mr. Campbell that the dog will be held for 7 days after the decision. All right? We won't start the count until the decision is rendered. Okay? All right? Thank you.
Thank you, counsel. Mr. White, Mr. Sepulveda. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn, gentlemen.
I'll make that motion.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, sir.